I say every day. It's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
We're not qualified.
Who are you?
Explorers in the further regions of experience.
I do misbehave. If you do not listen, then the hell with you.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 118th episode of Screaming into the Void. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and with me is green-haired anti-liberal. How you doing?
I'm good. I slept until 11, which is not at all normal. So my body was telling me that I need to slow the fuck down. So it's been a weird day.
I bet. I slept until 2:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't get
To be fair, after Devil's Show, I was so goddamn tired that I laid down and I couldn't sleep. You know how you get to that point of exhaustion where you just can't fall asleep. So I watched like the first half of Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance with Nick Cage, which is the goofiest fucking movie. And then I went to sleep because that movie sucks.
It's one way to do it.
Yeah. You know, you gotta my mother's always told me, because I have this habit when I can't sleep where I'll start like watching or reading something that I actually find interesting, and then my brain gets stimulated, and then I'm definitely not going to sleep.
Yeah.
So she's like, watch something boring. And I was like, I don't want to watch boring things, you know, ever.
Why would I do that to myself?
Right. But he was right. Knocked me right the fuck out.
Technically, that's really the only good thing about boring things.
Right.
So you can use it for something like that, but still.
So, that said, we're here, we're alive. If you guys hear like a difference in the way I'm speaking, it's because I don't remember if I mentioned this live before, but I broke a tooth about 5 days ago, and the broken bit is cutting into the back of the right side of my tongue, so it's making it kind of difficult to speak. So we're going to I'm okay, you know, and I'm making it work, but if you hear any screaming or whimpering, that's probably me.
So what's a good word for this? What's generally okay about something like that? I have a chipped tooth as well. I did go to the dentist after it happened, and they put a cap on it, and it didn't last a month. And I was like, well, if that's just how it's going to be, I'll just deal with it. But it would cut into the bottom of my tongue because it's right here. You can kind of see it. It eventually dulls down.
Eventually, yes. But not fast enough for me to have to like do like 15 hours of fucking podcasting this weekend. So
yeah. So that's why I was like, I don't know the best word to say this. Like, eventually it gets better.
So, clue. If I'm gonna watch something where a guy's jerking off and looking at the camera, it's probably not going to be Tom Hanks and Castaway. I'm just saying. We're gonna say hello to the chat real quick before. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about today, guys. So we got Lawrence Knight for first. Aaron Laura is abandoning us for family IRL stuff. I guess we can forgive that. I guess. No, seriously, I have a good time. Over on the Rumble side, we have Cliff Anderson, who is clearly not there. You know, he's the John Cena of the Rumble chat.
Yeah, and he didn't give me snacks, so I'm upset at him.
We also have Beak with us. Beak is awesome. Love to have Beak around. We've got Caucasian Sasquatch, who shall be joining us on the panel. He's got a thing he wants to get off his chest, so we're gonna give him time to do that.
I have a comment on his comment. It's so infrequently used, the word supper, that when I first read this, I thought he was meaning to put super in it because no one uses that word like all that often anymore. And I was gonna be like, you put supper instead of super, but as I was continuing to read it, like I was like, oh, he actually meant to. I'm not surprised that Squatch would use that word, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
fun-
I mean,
fun
he's
comment.
from the South. Yeah.
I know.
So we also have Clue Channel with us today. Hello, Clue. Hello, hello,
Hey, Clue.
hello. Joining us for the first time on the channel, Mrs. May May, who I believe I ran into on Truism the Stormcrows chat. I hopped in his panels last week, I think, and she
Hello and
like
welcome.
some take of mine. I'm not sure what. I have a lot of really bad ones too, so be prepared for that, Mrs. May May. But welcome into the show, and I hope you enjoy. We're gonna cover some things today. You know, some news, some topics worldwide. You know, the dead squirrels, meth gators, and you know, terrorist plots in the UK abound.
It's a very well structured show.
Right. That's the other thing I should probably mention, is that the structure of the show, the format of the show is pretty free flow. There's a lot of tangents and a lot of really poor taste jokes.
Yes.
Zillage, welcome in, my brother. Good to see you. That's, I think, very generous, Clue, but I appreciate it.
I mean, you know how I feel. That is referencing you, and I'm just the middle person.
Yeah.
You and Squatch.
She likes to downplay herself. It does tend to get a little nerdy. Yeah. With some topics. So yeah, wonder what he has to say. Yeah, he's really pissed about this thing that happened in the movie sphere that kind of stepped on his toes. So we're gonna hear all about it when he gets here. That seems to be everybody in chat. It looks like Clue's gonna join us shortly. Very cool. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. We are only 4 days away from Election Day, right? Choose wisely, folks. Choose wisely. And to kind of hammer home that point, I'm just going to put this out there once again. If you are not really sure about Trump, if you definitely don't want Kamala, and you don't know who any of these other fucking people are, you could always vote for me. You know, because it could always be worse. I can't be the worst possible choice. So just putting that out there. Plant seeds, if you will. So, anywho, I think probably to start things off, there were a few things that came up this week. This week's been kind of busy for news, which is really weird because you think most of it would be focused around the election cycle and all of that stuff. But there's been a lot of like crazy shit happening in the world. Oh, that's not it. I apparently I've been putting fucking memes in my saved section. That's a deaf joke that we're not going to bring that up.
I kind of want to see it now.
All right, we're going to bring it up. The first rule of Deaf Club: Union knock moot nef glub. First 10 minutes of the show, and we're offending people.
Hey, my brother's deaf, so.
Well, and he didn't hear me, did he?
Not my brother here. My brother up north of you.
Yeah, Zillage. Yeah, totally. I'm with you on this. I'm actually kind of burnt out on politics pretty badly. I had a conversation with Gal offline last week where I was talking about that. I was like, we've been pretty deep into political shit, and it kind of transitioned there because of the election cycle, but also, you know, we talk a lot about the nefarious, shadowy organizations like the WEF, the Bilderberg Group, and that kind of thing. And honestly, it gets exhausting. It gets exhausting talking about all of the evil shit that's happening in the world all the time. So after the election cycle, assuming that, you know, the world is still here, that the internet is still here, that we don't all die in a nuclear fire, we're not going to abandon these things, but we are going to kind of, I guess, balance them out a little bit with more esoteric and like fun and strange and whatever topics like we started doing when we first started the show over 2 years ago. So, yeah, we're going to get a little bit back to the roots a little bit more. Obviously, there will be some disturbing shit that Sasquatch hates, like the brain organelles conversation we had 6 months ago. Yeah, Gal didn't really like that either.
Nope.
I didn't either, to be fair. I just felt it was something we should talk about. But yeah, so we got stuff coming up. There's some ideas that I'm floating around behind the scenes with some of my crew about how to kind of pivot a little bit away from constantly talking about all of the fucking awful, you know, because it wears on a person, you know, especially after January 6th of last year, or October 7th of last year. Sorry, got the two dates mixed up because, you know, there was a bit of hoaxiness to both of them. But I've seen so much ugly shit since then, like with my eyes, that I can never, ever scrub from my brain. And it's just, it wears on a person, you know? So, yeah, I promise I'm coming and then I'll join you. Ha 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 ha. Just jokes in the chat.
I'm a child, so I had to bring it up.
Yes, you are.
Whatever, old man.
Right. So I guess the first thing I wanted to probably bring up, actually, Gal didn't bring this to my attention, but she certainly emphasized that we should absolutely talk about this. Yes, Zillage, I am a person. Whole and actual. So, Peanut the Squirrel, Harambe 2.0.
But this one doesn't even have a justifiable reason behind it.
There wasn't really a justifiable reason for Harambe either.
Yeah, but you don't like people.
Yeah, I don't really like apes either, but I'm kind of on the ape side on this one.
I'm on the side that the parents owe the zoo money, like restitution for the fact that they saved her child.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm glad the kid's okay. I just think that they're, you know, a tranquilizer probably would have worked as well as a bullet.
So, not quickly enough. Tranquilizers aren't instant.
That's fair, and you know, but I mean, even with the bullet, what if the angle was off and the animal fell on the child? Right? You're talking about 900 pounds of gorilla.
Yeah, I get that, but it's more justifiable than this situation with Peanut and Fred, the raccoon.
Yeah. So, yeah, apparently there were several animals that were put down by the state of New York's environmental, you know, bullshit, and over some nonsense. I do have some videos that we can bring up about this from an account called Amuse on Twitter. I'm sure, Gal, you probably do know a little bit more about the situation than I do.
Probably not. I only heard about it this afternoon since I woke up so late. Alf was sending me a bunch of videos, like that interview that I posted in the chat.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to put some stuff in the private chat because obviously it plays a little bit better when you play it.
Yeah. I was wondering because you had your screen shared. So I was like, oh, he doesn't.
Yeah, I've got some still stuff too for today, so that it's not gonna, you know, have that same problem. So that's the first video, the first one that I saw, and I've got another one where they're actually being interviewed by TMZ about this. Yeah. Who knew? TMZ not being douches. So let's see. Copy that link. All right. Yeah, and so we can go ahead and bring that up anytime. We're probably Chat, we're all going to learn about this a little bit together. I just heard about this a little bit ago myself.
This is so bad. Okay, I can do this. This one's not a bad video. This is just about the little guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's so cute.
You know, for the record, typically when squirrels get this close to humans, it's not because they love them, it's because they have rabies. Just putting that out there. This is not something that you want to be doing on your own. Like, don't go up to fucking strange ass squirrels out in the park or some shit like that. Because if they want to get close to you, they probably want to give you some horrific disease.
I don't think they want to. Sam, you depressing. But see, this family rescues animals. Like, they have horses. It's like a whole farm type of thing. This isn't just a random dude in a neighborhood taking care of a squirrel.
It's like a sanctuary, I think, of some kind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, basically the video for that one.
Yeah. So that was just to tug on your heartstrings a little bit, chat.
Yeah,
Let you get to know the animal Peanut, the squirrel, a little bit right before we take those heartstrings and rip them right out of your fucking chest, because guess what? He's dead.
Yep.
I kind of feel a little bit bad about putting it that way.
Yeah, it wasn't very nice of you. Can you
No,
hear
it wasn't. I'm sorry.
I didn't share it because you used to have it where it auto shares, and now you've changed it. Noted. Okay. I just want to make sure.
They just learned that they have.
Is it loud enough? It seemed kind of quiet.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Euthanized Peanut.
And the raccoon as well.
And the raccoon as well. I am so sorry. This
Like
must be really difficult for you.
It not only tears my family apart, but Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue.
Since this is a TMZ video, are you like, does it copyright?
It might, but we're pulling it off of Twitter and not YouTube, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it because I don't think that they'll have a problem with us getting the information out there. Plus, by the way, TMZ made this video, so although that's not who I got it from Amuse on Twitter. But yeah, if TMZ has an issue with it, like, we do have copyright stuff down below in the description. We are fair using this. And also we're kind of giving them a little bit of free publicity with this. So
yeah.
But Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. And 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I was sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom. I wasn't even allowed to feed my rescue horses breakfast or lunch. I was sat there.
I haven't finished this. That's about as far as I got. So I don't even know what's to come currently.
Like a criminal. After they interrogated my wife to check out her immigration status, then proceeded to ask me if I had cameras in my house, then proceeded to go through every cabinet, nook, and cranny of my house for a squirrel and a raccoon.
They got a search warrant?
They got a search warrant. 4 departments and a judge signed off on a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. And then they took them and killed them.
Why did they go through all that to get a search warrant for an animal that had been with you very safely, and the world witnessed this for 7 years? Why now suddenly did they show up with a search warrant and take these animals?
We haven't a clue. We don't know who made the complaints. Again, Peanut was an indoor squirrel, not harming anybody. He's been with us for 7 years. Not a single complaint was ever filed for this animal. We had him for 7.5 years. He became the world's most famous squirrel. We weren't hiding him by any means. He was all over TikTok. He became the first.
Yeah. So as far as world's most famous squirrel, that may be true. I've never heard of this until the other day. I'd never heard of
Yeah.
Peanut the squirrel or these people or anything like that. I'm not saying that they weren't known. They just weren't known to me.
Right.
But yeah, this is the kind of thing. If they were this well known, then the state of New York, I mean, to own and
They would've-
operate an animal sanctuary, especially in a place like New York, you have to jump through so many fucking hoops and red tape in order to keep your shit up, right? In order to
Yep.
be able to be operational. So the state would have known about this shit for years.
Yep. It's not some new thing. Like someone had to have made some sort of complaint.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
were they, this might be a bit of a fucking tinfoil hat thing, but the fact that they were asking about the wife's immigration status makes me think that they were doing something else that the government didn't like potentially
Like
supporting someone.
sanctuarying. Yeah. Yeah, that's
like-
possible. Yeah.
Why are you sending this many people to just like upend their house to look into the wife's immigration status when you don't give a fuck about people's immigration right now, especially New York? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this about New York. I don't know about the entire state. I know that there are some draconian things in play. New York City, at the very least, is fucking lost. It's lost. It's a lost cause. Right? We might as well cut it out of the country like the fucking tumor that it is. And if you live in New York, I'm sorry, but you fucking know that that's true. You know, New York is what everything in California south of fucking Sacramento is.
Yeah.
You know, it's a blight. It's poison. It's a communist tumor. You know, and that sucks. It does. It sucks for the people that are there. There are still good people living there, but they are living under the thumb of people who do not care about them, who will do anything they can to make sure that you know your fucking place, including taking and murdering your pets.
Well, do you remember the Daniel Penny situation? The New York subway?
Vaguely.
The
Vaguely.
Marine veteran that
Oh, right. He's actually on trial right now.
Right now. And the prosecutor themselves said that they're not going to win.
Mhm.
Then why the fuck are you prosecuting him? There was body cam footage. This is a tangent that I should probably not bring up in the middle of this. Sorry.
It's fine. You know how I roll.
Well, the
Maybe
evidence,
we should finish the video first, but yes.
Yeah. Let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna
First squirrel on TikTok to ever hit 1 million followers. He did every
How
news
ma-
station around the world.
okay, wait. How many fucking squirrels are on TikTok anyway?
I
The
don't-
first
Have you never seen like random animal videos of like the flying squirrels and stuff like that?
I guess, I don't know, but it's like, you know, how many of them make a career of it though, right? How many of them are in more than one video? Like if they're wild animals, are usually captured once on film and that's it, right?
It's not a squirrel, it's like an Australian flying squirrel thing. Capybara.
Like a sugar glider?
Yes. Yeah.
Those are South American, but yes.
Whatever. I don't think it's the Australian version of that. I don't think it was, unless they have two different names. Like there's like a scientific one.
I think they're two different species.
Yeah. But there was this adorable freaking video that was like a TikTok video on Twitter that auto played, you know, after you watch a video on your phone or whatever, there will be another one that pops up, and it completely stopped me because it was so cute. And it was just like one of those, it's a domesticated animal that normally would just be a wild animal. I know it's in another country, so they probably have different rules for that type of thing. So it's a popular thing, I think, for especially TikTok type of videos, just compilations of animals doing cute things, you know? It's a thing.
Right.
Women are on the internet. It's a thing.
I don't know, but like Yeah, I guess what I'm gathering here though is that Peanut himself had a social media profile. I guess so.
I'm assuming, yeah. Well, especially because he was like the spearhead of their nonprofit or whatever.
He did
Mhm.
every news station around the world. He's helped people. He's helped kids gather joy. And then we started a nonprofit animal rescue called Peanut's Freedom Farm to help animals like Peanut fight a good fight when they're in a neglected case or they're sitting in a slaughter auction. And he was the cornerstone of our life and our organization.
Slaughtering.
We used his platform to help raise money for the 300 animals we have at our sanctuary.
300 fucking animals. Like, there's no way the government didn't fucking know about this shit for 7 fucking years.
Right.
And it's not like these people wouldn't have taken him to a vet to make sure that it's not diseased.
Mhm.
They're like kissing on it and shit. Like, it's a domesticated animal. I'm pretty sure it got its vaccines every year.
Well, they'd have to in order to be licensed to keep these
Yes.
animals. They have to be up to certain codes and regulations in order for that to happen in the first place. Anywhere, not just New York. You know, particularly because squirrels can't be domesticated; they're wild animals. This may be an exception, but they said the same. It's like Siegfried and Roy. You know, there's like, oh, you know, the tigers love them, they raised them, and all that stuff. And then one of them tried to eat fucking Roy's face off, or was it Siegfried? I don't know. But
One of them.
you know, like you can't domesticate these things.
We have a liar in our
Hey,
midst.
Shadow.
Aren't you the liar?
Yeah. Aren't you at work?
Actually, they sent me to pick up some stuff from a sister store because we just are never in stock of anything, and it's like a 20-minute drive, and the traffic's really bad, so I should be on for like 30-40 minutes.
So why am I the liar? You just accused me of lying. Why?
Because Sam in the past has expressed the fact that, well, you've expressed the fact that you are a saint and a lady, and Sam quantified as well that you are a liar. I'm assuming that, bro.
I am always sarcastic when I say those things.
Sam wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, it wasn't.
I just take his word for it just because he's a freaking eldritch being.
Oh, no, I said this on the Twitter, but good cause, gal, good cosplay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry you were traumatized with Dermy, but I did warn you.
No, you did. No.
I said sorry for the jump scare. First thing I said.
I was absolutely not warned.
No.
What would be the jump scare about me in Catwoman's outfit?
What jump
nothing
scare?
about that. That was fine. What's not fine is that I saw Dermy's tits.
So that's
that was the horrifying part.
The post that I said sorry for the jump scare. That's the first. Oh, your guys, you didn't read what I said.
Yes.
I just realized that.
Well,
it's still your fault.
I think I was driving at the time as well, so that might have been part of it.
Get off Twitter when you're driving, kid.
No, I refuse.
Jesus Christ.
I now recall there was a time when Sam said you're going to end up in the ditch and regret it. So never mind.
I mean, the way he's going, we're going to listen to it happen.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, at least I won't hit a deer. At least I won't hit a damn deer.
Like Dermy
Jesus,
did.
Kid. How many times have I yelled at Amira about not streaming while she's driving? And I'm going to have to do the same thing here. This is not a good idea, kid. It's really not.
I mean, it's like him being on the phone. As long as your hand's free, right?
Yeah. No, I am. I've got like a little magnetic thing. It's just sitting on the dashboard of my car. I'm able to watch the only real issue is the microphone might be shit because it's a phone and I'm like a foot away from the phone. But aside from that, yeah.
So no touchy the phone while driving.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like it's more dangerous when I'm listening to music, honestly, because I want to like skip things.
Mm.
Whereas with this, I'm watching the road and I'm talking to you guys. Unless Sam pulls up a video, at which point I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
No, you won't. You can wait. This whole show is designed. So for new people who came in, like Miss May earlier today, something that we do occasionally show video references. We do occasionally show like images and that sort of thing. But the way that we structure the show is mostly just talking about stuff. And so for the most part, you don't actually have to like visually see the whole thing. You can listen to it as if it's a radio broadcast. And the reason I do that is because that's the kind of thing I like to listen to while I'm at work. So
And he also has a place for
it's really not necessary. And if you really feel like you missed something, kid, I don't take these down. So you can always go back and watch.
That is very true. That is absolutely true. But then
So,
I can't make the point of
I thought Amira has a driver. No, she doesn't. What was that?
Oh, sorry. What I was saying was, but then I can't blame you as the reason I'm dead. If I could watch it later, then it's not your fault. It's my fault.
I don't want you to blame me for the reason you being dead.
He's more meaning don't blame yourself. He's taking accountability, which Dermy could learn a thing or two from that. That it would still be his fault if he would do a strike.
What's accountability?
Shut the fuck up, kid.
Well, it's something that neither you nor women have in common.
Fuck you!
Yeah.
I got
So before
sorry for derailing shit.
Welcome in, Sasquatch. Before shut the fuck up, kid. Shut up for a second.
There
Shut
is a
your mouth.
delay in his defense, so you were actually interrupting him. Just saying. Carry on.
Take your time, bro. I gotta eat.
Oh,
Y'all
is
go
there?
ahead.
Yeah, there's one here too, I think.
This is a shit show, so welcome anybody who's
Far
new.
along.
Oh, there you are. Did you come back, Sam?
No.
I don't know. Did I?
Nah, we heard
Yeah,
that.
you're shitternetting.
Hi, Sasquatch. How's it going?
I'm stuffing stuff into my face hole.
Nice. Sounds like it. I normally would yell at you for it, but since you prefaced.
Face squatch.
Okay, Sam.
Okay. I want to get through this before we move on to another topic, because otherwise, you know how this goes. We will forget about it, and we will get halfway through a thing, and then off into the races, as it were. This is from Congressman Nick Langworthy of New York. I join many of my constituents and people around the country who have contacted my office today, angry and demanding answers from Governor Kathy Hochul's Department of Environmental Conservation. Reports are that following their unannounced raid of a home in Chemung County, the DEC agents have gone ahead and unnecessarily killed their animals. The pet owner has not been afforded due process, and now his pets are dead. And this is the part that gets under my skin. This action comes today as reports have emerged of an illegal immigrant raping a 5-year-old on Long Island. This demonstrates the Hochul administration's deranged level of misguided priorities. In New York State, we have sanctuaries for illegal immigrants while innocent pets are killed. I demand answers and will push until the administration comes clean.
I'm pissed about the animals dying for no reason. And I am also pissed for this. Like, I didn't have this example. I was pissed that so much, like that interview that he talked about, so many officers were there basically detaining the entire family while they raided the house for these 2 fucking animals that did nothing wrong. While illegal immigrants have taken over the fucking entire general area of New York City and surrounding areas. And then now we have a specific example of something that just happened that they could have taken, instead of their entire freaking day of detaining this family and killing these animals, they could have actually been doing something about the illegal immigrant fucking problem, the crime-ridden city problem. But no, they take it upon themselves to go take these 2 innocent fucking animals who didn't even attack anyone from the information that I have currently and kill them for no reason.
I mean, to be fair, one of them was a trash panda.
But did it do anything to anyone?
Yeah.
Rocket,
Absolutely.
no.
Trash panda.
No, it was
It
a domesticated trash panda. It didn't do anything to deserve to be killed. Meanwhile,
No such thing. No such thing.
That's specific illegal. Separating the fact that
Bro.
pretty much if you're an illegal migrant, then you have committed a crime. That specific illegal migrant raped a fucking child. It should have been reversed. The squirrel and the raccoon should have been the ones walking free, and that motherfucker should have a bit of lead in his head.
Yeah, like where the fuck are your
I don't
priorities?
disagree.
How do you think they're okay?
Well,
No,
they're
I
part
don't
of the whole.
disagree at all on that.
Sorry, Sam.
No, continue. Finish your thought.
I was just gonna say it's the whole like in-group, out-group thing. There was a study that found if you lean more right-wing, then you put more priority on things in your immediate group, like your family, your friends, your pets, etc. And if you are more left-wing, you put more importance on things of the out-group, like
Someone's been watching Aiden
rock and
Paladin.
space. I've been seeing what?
Aiden Paladin.
No, it's just a meme that pops up on Twitter whenever leftists say something retarded.
So, Cliff
You
Anderson
said the
over on
word
the
fact very
I was
strangely.
just reading it, Sam.
okay. Over on the Rumble side says on a called-in complaint by a photographer, Monica Kiesler, to the DEC for unknown reasons. The woman proceeded to brag on her now deleted Facebook account.
So
Sounds like
Wait, hold
this
on.
person probably had a beef with the people who ran the sanctuary and called in a complaint to fuck with them.
Survival. Okay. The only
Lawfare.
thing was an enclosure. The animal was not capable of wild survival. They tried that initially, but Peanut came back with injuries. Some rescued wildlife is not releasable. This is exactly why rehab sanctuaries will keep select animals after rehab capability is maxed. Fuck. Making the victims sit outside their home for 5 hours while these maniacs tore up everything. They were denied the right to call legal counsel. Feds went through closets, leaving a complete mess. They broke soap bottles in the bathroom. They took apart the man's toilet upon escorting him before he could use it because apparently there could be some important squirrel propaganda hidden in there. Obviously, there's bias in this post. I'm assuming in the tank.
I mean,
Off. Like,
they're not
this-
wrong.
I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm going to share it, but Jesus Christ.
Well, okay, what's the reason they're giving for the they said there was a complaint
They're not.
from a
Still.
photographer about something, and that is enough to warrant a this sounds
For
like a
unknown
drug raid.
reasons, it says.
This sounds like a drug raid followed by the execute. This is effectively your neighbor calls in a complaint that something was going on. SWAT shows up, they drag your fucking dogs out of the house and takes them from you. Next thing you hear, they're dead. So what is the did they think these people were planning an active terror attack or something?
No, they were Shadow. These people that are in power in New York do not care if you're doing good or bad. They just care that you're doing something anywhere outside of their legal control. And once you reach that stage, once you reach that level of awareness, you're doing something they can't take money from, they can't charge you for, they can't fine you for. They just kill it because that's not useful to them, and so they have to get rid of it because it doesn't fit inside of their ideal.
So this was basically Thomas Shelby grabbing a razor and blinding someone as a point. It was a shot off the bow.
It's a warning. It's an obvious warning to
Gotcha.
people who are functioning on the bare edge of doing legal versus illegal stuff. Because if you're an undocumented migrant, then clearly you get the free run of the entire city. But if you're actually trying to do good for America, the wildlife, the people, the things, they got to stop that immediately because only the government is allowed to show up and help.
Yeah.
Dom,
look at hurricane response. Same thing.
Yeah. Dom, the squirrel thing happened, I think just a day or two ago.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very recent. As to the little girl in Long Island, I don't know a whole lot beyond what the governor posted there. So I can't verify whether that actually happened or not, but we do have verification that events like that have happened and are continuing to happen in this country due to at the hands of illegal immigrants. And I'm gonna amend what I just said there. I'm gonna stop saying immigrants. They're not fucking immigrants. They're not coming here to build a life. They're coming here to tear one down. They're criminal aliens.
Yep, they're aliens, migrants. Hell, like technically they are immigrants, and that's part of why I don't like the statement "America was built by immigrants." To immigrate just means to go from one place to another. The like initial settlers, the initial English settlers weren't migrants; they were colonists. The Irish and the Scottish and the Germans that followed them weren't immigrants; they were frontiersmen. They were policemen. They were construction.
You're
workers.
arguing semantics over.
Yeah, you're being pedantic, bro.
There's a very
fly.
clear difference between an immigrant or migrant is just a short form of fucking immigrant. Typically, with a migrant, it's a temporary thing. With an immigrant, there's an intent to settle. That's the main difference. The other difference,
Right.
alien, can be applied to all of them until they become citizens, because alien simply means foreigner or not of us. In this case, these are not people who are coming in to better themselves or to, even like in a migrant's case, they would come in, they'd work for a while, then they'd move on somewhere else. Right. This is a whole other thing. This is a criminal invasion of alien enemies.
I would argue they are coming to better themselves, just not to the benefit of the host nation they're coming to. They're coming so they can get 3 hots in a cot. They're coming so they can have whatever victims they want. And
I think that you're giving them the benefit of the doubt where
population.
they don't fucking deserve it.
Oh no, I'm not. Like they're fucking scum. They're fucking animals. But a parasitic tick hopping on a dog hurts the dog, but it still benefits the tick. In the same vein, these people show up, they damage the host country while they're getting money, they're getting like a place to stay, and if they get deported, oh well, they bring some of the stuff they brought back, or they just come through the border again. Like
So,
they're better. They're still bettering themselves, which is the fucking problem, that they're destroying the country they're in as well.
Yeah, but we don't care about them bettering themselves. We would care about them bettering themselves if they were not a net drain.
Yep.
Right. And like Clue here is saying illegals, and Dom as well says, yeah, they are illegals. I am not using the term illegals because I think illegal applies more to the act that they take than it does to the person themselves. I'm not one of those like, oh, no person is illegal. No, some people are fucking criminals because they do illegal things, like cross the border illegally. They're criminals. They're not. I'm not going to play the game with the illegals and stuff. I'm just going to start calling them fucking criminal aliens because that's what they are.
Yeah, that feels like the best term.
There is another layer to this when it comes to the tick on the dog analogy. Some, not all, some of these people come here to work. They send most of their money home to another country where it's worth 100 times more than it is here, and they live as low as they can, so to speak. And then when they get deported, they just go home and live off the money they made while they were here. And these are the good ones. These are the people that you would meet on the street and you would be like, oh, he's just a normal guy trying to make a buck. They're not here paying taxes. They're not here doing citizen things, but they are here trying to vote.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, obviously, any nation, particularly one that contributes as much to the world stage as we do. I mean, we facilitated trade. We patrol and keep the seas safe for trade. Up until very recently, the U.S. dollar was the trade currency. English, especially American English, was the trade language. We've had a lot of influence on that, and so any nation that's as prominent as the United States is going to see some activity, some illegal movement throughout the country. You're going to see people moving in with undocumented. You're going to see people coming in doing shit under the table or shady shit or whatever, and then moving on. You're going to see that in any kind of nation of this size and this status, which is fine. But there seems to be an overwhelming number of specifically, and I know you guys have heard me say this shit before, specifically military age men with no attachments who are in great fucking physical shape, just kind of wandering across the border and then fucking disappearing into the population.
Yeah, it's it's the communist. It's like what freaking words. It's what jihadists like to do in the Middle East. It's what it's the entire like military structure of the Chinese Communist Party, really. Before they became the reigning government of China, you turn white areas into pink areas into crap, I'm forget. It's Galula's counterinsurgency, basically. That's what they're doing, but with the United States. Only they don't need to necessarily just do it militarily. If they've also got the capital to start purchasing businesses, to start using hacking to get into our infrastructure, it's the same shit.
Yeah. Okay. Now say all that again, but pretend that the rest of us haven't read every tactical manual known to man.
Okay, sorry. So
That's them.
sorry about that. So
in the chat.
Let me start off with what is the point of warfare? Warfare is the acquisition of resources.
Holy shit! I didn't mean give us a fucking dissertation, kid.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Stand down, sir. Stand down.
Okay.
No, I understood what you were saying. I was just,
The general point is the primary opposition to the United States being Iran and China, as well as interest groups like, say, the WEF, and other things like that, understand that they cannot engage the United States in a conventional, as we understand it, military conflict, and arguably could not win in the long term in an asymmetric war if the United States is properly motivated to sucker the punches and just keep going, because that's what they tried to do in World War I and World War II, and our industry was able to outlive that. So they've recognized, okay, we can't fight the United States conventionally. We can't attrition them, but we can break them apart, and then we can let sap at the marrow while they're dying effectively.
This is all classic balkanization, though, man. I mean, it's nothing different from what's happened in that situation where they divide everybody into different groups, label them as other, and then go about trying to exterminate those differences. It's ridiculous.
Well, there's another added step, and that's the fact that warfare has shifted where you don't need you still, if you want to occupy a territory, you still need soldiers to occupy it, but you no longer need to exert military force in order to actually break your opposition. When you have, or violent force, let me rephrase. If you have hackers, you can, and you are targeting an opposition who have incredibly digitized their economy and their infrastructure, why risk missiles and planes and soldiers when you can just slip some malware into their system and take it out that way? Why would you want to, or hell, why would you even do that when you can use the fact that they are accepting foreign capital for investments in their corporations to enter into their infrastructure in such a key way that they need you for everything, like, say, medical supplies in the case of a pandemic, and then the moment when they need you most, you step away and let them collapse on themselves. That sort of thing. And I've been kind of talking.
Well, it's the same shit that. So to simplify things, and for those of us who remember this, this is kind of the same thing that we did during the Cold War to the USSR. We just sort of seeded corruption and then let them kind of take themselves out.
Yeah.
Which is how the Soviet Union fell. It's how we're going to fail. It's the only way that the United States falls, by the way, and they know that. They can't beat us militarily. They can't beat us on our own turf. Everybody in the fucking world knows that. We have geographical advantages that exist nowhere else on Earth. On top of having the most powerful military that has ever existed on this planet, I might add.
We also have the most powerful non-standing military to have ever existed on the planet. Our civilians are more armed than most countries.
Yeah. We also have the benefit of being a relative, the same benefit China has, although lesser than China. We have a relatively homogenous population, mentally, not really anymore, but mentally we have a relatively homogenous population. It's not like, say, in Europe where you have Germans, Poles, and French will start killing each other over 100-year-old difference. Our pretty much biggest issue would be the Civil War, and we've gotten over that relatively well.
That doesn't really matter in terms of a land invasion in the United States, which again is impossible. It can't be done, and everybody knows that it can't be done. So the only way that they can take us down is to allow us to take ourselves down. Now, if we're all united on a thing, that also can't be done. So the idea is to insinuate divisions where there weren't any before.
Yeah. And then also,
and that'll do it. That'll do it because we're absolutely capable of destroying ourselves.
Yeah, and then make it worse by taking out our critical infrastructure, like our food production, our water purification, our electricity, medical services.
No, that's not necessary.
That's all included in destroying.
Yeah, that's completely unnecessary to be taken from an outside perspective when all you have to do is purchase a handful of politicians to not pass bills to build infrastructure or repair infrastructure. They use that money to send out of the country to other places to build their infrastructure while our bridges fall down.
True, but it doesn't hurt. Like the whole, you don't necessarily need 5 years of food for a 3-year space mission, but it doesn't hurt to have that extra 2 years. Contingencies and all that.
Yeah. So, this we have kind of gotten away from the topic of dead squirrels, but
well, I mean, it wasn't just like the dead squirrels; it was also part of
Right.
like government malfunctioning, like it does.
Overreach is the word you're looking for.
When you talk about
malfunctioning, is really. I'm not a big fan of the government.
So when you talk about like there's malfunctioning and that's where the government doesn't work. When it does work and bad things happen, that's overreach. And overreach is government acting as intended. I'm just gonna let that one set there.
That sounded a little
I'll
bit.
make the sizzling sound be like
Government operating as intended is overreach.
I view it like this. Government is an organism, and organisms defend themselves. They expand and they try to take over territory. This is the nature of an organism. So when a government has an issue, they create another department to deal with that issue, and all it does is mess up and screw up everything associated with that issue. You get more of that issue. You make a hunger department, you get more hungry people.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because in order to justify keeping your job, you have to have a problem to solve. And if you solve the problem, you no longer have a job. So what do? You go out and you find ways to extend or create more of that problem so that you have something to do, so that you keep getting paid to do what you're doing. The Environmental Protection Agency is like the number one fucking egregious thing for that. Them and some of the intelligence agencies, but them. I think I would put at the top of my list. They go and they find
EPA,
problems where there aren't.
The ATF, yes. These people, they are designed for overreach. The ATF is a government position that should never have ever been made.
Oh, it's 100% unconstitutional.
Oh, same with the IRS.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I said, government operating as intended to do what they do is overreach. I mean, we have the Constitution in place for a fucking reason, and what happens? We get the ATF, we get the we get the IRS, we get the CIA, who are not supposed to be turning their shit against American citizens, but we know that they do. They also work hand in hand with the NSA, who do turn their shit against American citizens and are very proud to admit that shit. You get the Department of Homeland Security, which has only been around for 2 fucking decades and should never have been created in the fucking first place. And they're now in charge of fucking FEMA.
Which tells you what they think about Americans in disasters.
So to be fair,
they use a security force specifically to manage a disaster, not because they're there to help.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not.
Well, Department of Homeland Security was specifically put into place during the it was authorized, I think, by the first iteration of the Patriot Act, right, which allowed them to spy on our own citizens for quote unquote national security reasons, to prevent quote unquote terrorist attacks from it happening in the future, that sort of thing. Shadow, this happened like just before you were born, but
yeah, I'm aware. Something about the towers.
So them being put in charge of FEMA, like the Department of Homeland Security is technically an anti-terrorist organization. So if they're in charge of FEMA, right, FEMA falls under their purview, then that makes FEMA an anti-terrorism unit, which means that their presence in any place in the United States is as an action against the civilians. They consider all civilians in the country terrorists.
Gathering operation. They're gathering intel, not helping the locals. Look, I'm in the middle of this disaster area from Helene. It rolled right over the top of my house. I have yet to see or hear of anything out of FEMA at all. Nothing.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just got back to work, so I got to head out.
Okay, thanks for stopping by, kid.
Yep. And before you tell me to shill stuff, Sam, I got nothing to shill right now, so yeah.
That's fine. His if you're interested, his link is in the description below, along with the other fine people in the panel and some others who rotate in and out. So definitely go check his channel out.
Yep. Thank you for having me on. Thank you, Gal and Squatch, for letting me talk as much as I did. I promise next time I won't talk as much. Thank you to the chat.
How dare you?
Letting you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yep. Have a good night. And as one leaves, another enters. Hello, Clue Channel. Welcome.
Hey, why does you do run? Why you running?
He doesn't
He's
like
scared of you. He's scared.
He's
He's racist.
hearing the call of his master's whip.
Can you handle this smoke you about to get?
That's my line, gal. That's my line. I'm supposed to drop it. I'm the one with the racist name over here.
Too slow, man.
I was talking to my wife, damn it.
Oh, welcome in, Clue. Welcome in. Do you have you been keeping up on this this Peanut the squirrel business?
I saw that. I saw a clip of that yesterday, and but what you showed today was more information than there was on.
I think it's all the information I've seen on it, what we showed today. I haven't seen too much more besides the memes where people are like Harambe 2.0 and like, oh my God, you know, fuck the government and, you know, up with the
John
squirrels,
Wick.
down with the feds. Yeah. So, yeah. But, you know, this, as far as like actual information goes, this is as much as I've been able to find myself. So I'm sure there might be something else out there. I just haven't seen it.
So the wife is an immigrant. That part I didn't get.
She
It was
might
just
be. I don't know.
so in the interview he was talking about they were reviewing her, making sure that she was a legal immigrant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Like that
why
was some of the shit that they were doing when they were detaining the family to take these pets.
Wow, they
Yeah.
do. They really do focus on priorities, don't they? They work big to small.
You do notice that there does seem to be a thread that ties all of these governmental overreach things together. It doesn't seem to land on immigrants at all, really. It seems to land on people who have done things perfectly legal and perfectly acceptably under the law. And they come in and just run roughshod over these people. But if you happen to hop a fence and run in, they'll just give you a charge card and say you to charge it.
Well, that's why so many people were joking about Lethal Lightning when he his visa kept getting denied by the US for him to come visit. Everyone was just like, just go to our southern border and hop the fence. They're fine with
Right.
it.
Yep. That's
You know,
how all
we
the
got-
criminals
we
are
got-
getting in.
We got friends in Canada. Aaron Laura, who's usually in the chat, is not with us today, but she's also Canadian, and a lot of them have expressed interest in getting the fuck out of Canada because of their draconian policies and the fact that, you know, at any point they might be government appointed to go to the suicide chambers, you know, and they can't fight that because they don't have any guns now. So people have been telling them, I was like, just fucking sail around the United States into Mexico and
On a
then walk
cruise.
across the border.
Yep.
You know, I mean, why not? Everybody else on the fucking planet is doing it. You know, like people talk about how like, oh, it's racist to not want to let people in just because they're brown. I was like, first of all, you're assuming that it's only brown people coming through the border.
Yep.
It's not by a long shot. You know, there's plenty of Europeans, there's plenty of Asians, there's plenty of Africans. There are even some from Oceania who are coming through. Right? It's not just brown people. It's not just Latinos from south of the border. And for the record, most
That
of those
person
Latinos
is
that are coming
racist for
through
saying that.
aren't Mexican. They're
assuming
coming
that.
through like more than one continent and several countries away. I think if what is it? You have to stop at the first safe country that's 3 countries from the country that you're running from if you want asylum, right? I think that's the international law. But people are coming through 7, 8, 9, sometimes whole fucking continents and oceans.
You must stop in the third.
Yeah. But they're not doing that. Like half of these guys are from like deep South America. There's like 18 countries between us and them.
But not light skinned. That is
My bad.
What?
You got company over there.
That was Cat Williams going off about the mountains of Caucasus. I'm trying to find a clip from last night's show.
Fair enough. So yeah, it's not just that. It's not just race. Half of these guys are European. You know how many Ukrainian and Russian fucking expats are coming through our southern borders, right? White as I am. You know, Chechens seem to be a big thing. You know, and those guys are scary as fuck, by the way. I'm just saying. So yeah, it's one of those fucking things. We just don't need the open borders at all, because without we close down the borders. Yes, there are people who are going to get through the cracks. That's unavoidable. But the sheer volume of them, we can absolutely put a fucking stop to. We can absolutely start screening people better, or at all, since we're not doing it
In
at all.
general.
And which will cut down on things like missing cats in fucking Ohio. It'll cut down on things like children being raped and fucking murdered all over the goddamn country. We're hearing about a new one every day now.
Venezuelan gangs.
Yeah, Venezuelan gangs taking over whole fucking apartment complexes. I guarantee none of those guys has a visa.
Yep. Or even just how many children that are just lost now? 300 million over.
Yeah. Those are the children of the fucking people coming over the border. Kids are disappearing from fucking foreign countries.
So don't give me this altruistic bullshit of like, we should be helping everybody. We're not fucking helping everybody. Kids are getting completely disappeared into the human trafficking life.
Yeah.
And you don't give a flying fuck about those people.
Well over 250,000 this year alone.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
don't give me the bullshit.
Government's making a lot of money off of that. Or should I say, Diddy's people.
Well, they've been sold, I would imagine, probably to Saudi princes.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate fucking saying shit like that because it's fucking disgusting and it's evil. I don't think anybody's kids should be sold into fucking slavery or organ farms or, breeding pens or whatever the fuck they end up being in. And all of those things are real, by the way, for those of you out there listening.
The Blue Party's okay with it, though.
The Blue Party likes to suck fucking stem cells out of the spines of dead babies. So
you keep talking like that, you're going to land in the middle of the cultural replacement theory.
I mean, look, there is something to that as well. There's something to all of these things. I mean, it is what it is. That actually brings us to another topic that we are going to cover. But before we do that, before we get to that, because I promised my buddy Kenzo I'd talk about it. I believe Caucasian Sasquatch has a
should I get mad?
Has a beef.
I want to get mad
with some filmmakers. And I did promise him some time to talk about this. So go ahead. Buddy.
So those of you who have been around on Sam's channel for a while might have encountered me ranting about a movie that I wanted to make. Ever since Cocaine Bear came out, I went, nah, that's silly. We should do Meth Gator. But then I came up with an entire plot. I started looking for actors and trying to find a director and looking for some funding to make this movie. Eventually, a YouTuber's dreams crash and crumble, and there's nothing you can do about it. However, apparently somebody out there was paying some kind of attention because Meth Gator has become an actual thing. They made my movie, but they're idiots.
Have to watch it, right?
They are. I watched it. They are stupid. They're morons. Listen, first of all, they don't know nothing about gators or meth. First of all, gators can't fly or climb trees, and meth won't make them do it. Meth heads don't have teeth. Meth heads don't have teeth, and they don't get hungry and eat. And the idea of a gator running around eating a bunch of people is actually stupid on its surface if it's full of meth, right? But the idea that you could lead this addicted alligator around to do something does make a little bit of sense. And so in my pitch for the movie, it was supposed to be a love story that was filmed in the auspices of a slasher / monster flick, right? You never get a good shot of the gator at all. You never actually see what's really going on until the very end when you realize, well, meth heads don't have teeth and they also don't eat people. So, the premise that I was going on was someone figured out how to make money off of meth without actually selling meth, right? So they do an adventure weekend. It's set up as a love story. The husband goes down. They go adventuring. The gator snatches everybody up in your classic monster scenario, which is exactly what this film is. All the way through. Monster movie. That's it. But the reality behind the plot is that since meth heads don't eat and they don't have teeth, if an alligator snatches you off a dock, it doesn't eat you. It just snatches you, takes your meth, and moves on like most meth heads do. I swear, I think it was on your live stream, one of your live streams, that actually pitched all of this in its completeness.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, that's evidence. I think you should
Dude,
go after him.
It looks like they watched the first half of that live stream from this movie. They didn't hear this. I swear, dude, there's a scene where the alligator jumps out of the water and then goes down so you can get a full long shot of its body so that it can fly back up to bite a drone that was flying 30 feet in the air. I admit it's a beautiful shot, but it is so stupid. So I got no smoke for these folks. I understand that they don't have the completeness of thought that I do, even though they have like 20 people working on a project. They're morons and they don't do research and they don't think things through. They're just like, hey, you know what would be cool is if they fly now. Hey, what if they climb a radio tower? Well, what if they try to hide under the bed? You know, stupidity. The only thing missing in the actual film they made is the meth gator trying to steal a catalytic converter.
That could be controversial, but yeah.
I hate to say it, buddy, because I'm on your side on this. I know I am, but it kind of sounds like I'm gonna enjoy this movie.
You're gonna like it. I swear to God, it's terrible. It's so bad. But look, dude,
You don't have to be on meth to like it.
The freaking guns in this film are worth watching it. They use BB guns in some scenes, and then they have like these 2 bolt action rifles that they use like automatic machine guns. You can see the fucking bolt.
Did you check the credits to see if you see a familiar name?
I did, and I tried. Tubi doesn't give you a whole lot of to go on. I went to the IMDb page and didn't see it. Tim somebody wrote it, and I'm like, yeah, you sitting around scrolling through YouTube tonight.
You know what that means. We gotta ask the chat, because we don't know all of your names.
Might have some
names and all that. And I'm not asking anybody to dox themselves. I'm just saying if you leaked Squatch's plot to these filmmakers, own up to it.
Just let me know, man. I'm not even all that mad. I'm more impressed than anything else.
Yeah, I just fucking with you, chat. I don't think any of you would do that, but
I know you did. Okay,
I might if I thought I could make some money on it, but it never occurred to me to do so.
Well, should dude stop camming up? Maybe he's living in a big house right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Christopher Ray is the director of this film. The producer is David Mitchell Latt, and I can't find the writer right here, but it's Tim somebody.
Tim's.
Man, I love it.
You talking about Tim Zillage Johnson?
Maybe could be.
For the record, YouTube, that was not us doxing Zillage. We don't know Zillage's name. We're just making shit up.
I was firing shots though because I'm slightly upset. I've spent almost 2 years, almost 4 years now. This was a while back. Yeah, like three or 4 years now. That happened like not long after I started my channel when I started all that stuff. Like it's obvious Meth Gator's going to be a great movie, right? So you don't really have to gild the lily too much. You just need a plot to attach it to. And it's more than just Gator eats people.
I'm with Andy. I'd throw some titties in there too, but
there's no nudity.
You can't have a meth film without titties.
Yeah, it's impossible.
There are some nice justices in this film. That is true. In fact, I'm actually impressed because one of the models, quote unquote models, one of the models that's in there looks like she might have had a biscuit before she started filming. Like she ate more than a leaf.
Oh wow.
I'm not saying she's chunky. She's not chunky. She's just healthy. And that's something you don't see a lot of.
She looks like she ate a leaf as opposed to had a leaf growing on her.
Right. No, she like when she gets up and runs forward with the gun to start shooting the gator, like her belly shakes a little bit. She's got a little bit of chunk here and there. She got a nice booty and she's white as the driven snow. So like you're gonna have to explain to me how that's possible.
Oh man. I'm gonna check this film out. I don't know if I'll do any kind of like review on it or anything. I'm probably just gonna watch it and enjoy the fuck out of it myself. But I am kind of sorry that somebody beat you to the punch a little bit there with that.
Dude, you should have seen the way this went down. I wake up yesterday morning and some of my kids had come over with a bunch of their friends. There's maybe 12 people in the freaking living room and they're all sitting around trying to use one lighter to light cigarettes, right? I come in, toss them a lighter. It's like, oh, I'll turn the TV on. I turn on the TV, go to Tubi, and it popped up Meth Gator, and I screamed, threw the remote on the floor, and stormed out of the room and left everybody just standing there like, what the hell just happened? I went and told my wife they stole my movie. I'm gonna go watch it right now.
Yeah. Oh man.
Please call me for Meth Gator 2 so we
movie.
can actually rectify some of this. Anybody involved in that film, get me on the writing team. Get me in there because we can make a much better film with much lower budget. They actually use CGI, dude. I was talking about taking a freaking like one of those little stuffy gator heads and using perspective shots in a balloon.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. So, like, in my opinion, and I know that Peter would have some things to say about this, but the best way to produce a meth gator film would be to get a gator and give it some meth.
How you catch it after you give it the meth?
Well, you don't. You just let it go. You film it.
How do you film it?
Like maybe you attach like one of those camera
You're gonna use
setups to its head before you give it the meth, and then you let it go, so you can see everything from the meth gator's point of view.
I was really going to try to get Flow State as Dope Boy #1. I think that would have been hilarious. Clue gets
he might need a supporting role.
Right? He was going to be the only dead body. He was going to die in the first like 20 seconds. I ran it by him completely. He's like, yeah, that's totally me, dude. I'll do it. I was like, we'll even use you as an Easter egg later as like extra #1, 2, and 7.
Yeah. So, yeah. Meth Gator. Go watch it, folks. Let me know what you think.
Send me $1 for thinking of it, you bastards.
Right? Few words, just hire a Florida man that uses meth. I mean, that's like every third dude in Florida. But okay.
Well, that was kind of the premise here is like you have this group of people who have figured out what to do with meth to make money without actually selling it and breaking any of the drug laws, right? So they're doing adventure weekends with a trained alligator to come monsterize the people. It's a terror flick, honestly. It's a sweet love story. Don't judge me.
I think it works better as a horror comedy myself, but
obviously a comedy, obviously a horror. I'm just saying, throw in the love story twist in there. These guys, they had two people who grew up together, run across each other coincidentally, and now they're in love. And I was like, you need to save a marriage, bro.
Right.
Now,
well, you know what? Actually, regarding like casting and all that, and how to control, the gator. Let's see if I even fucking have it. I thought I saved it, but maybe I didn't. Oh, it might be in a different fucking thing. Hold on a second. I'll
We are waiting patiently, sir.
I'm gonna have to wait patiently because it's gonna take a minute.
If it's bigger than Sharknado, will you be upset?
This one is not gonna do that, dude.
No,
it's not. Although if they made
nothing's come close to Sharknado.
Yeah. See, you can do Meth Gator 2, Meth Gator NATO.
Yeah. Shit. No, I think that's the wrong fucking thing too. I've got so much shit that is just kind of piled up.
So you're impacted.
Different,
You should talk to your doctor. Dude, ancient evils have
I
doctors.
should. No, not really.
They
we
did.
eat doctors.
Yes, I said they did.
You know, we break their minds. So, fuck, where did it go? There's been so much shit lately that a lot of the stuff that I saved kind of gets buried under other stuff. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Fuck. Well, that's fine.
It's fine, dude.
So
I'll just do
Cardi
this.
B did a Halloween costume where she was done up like a crocodilian by professional makeup artists. I don't see why you couldn't just do that to her and then put a bunch of fucking meth up her nose.
Because I couldn't afford her, but we might be able to find one of these skeezy strippers in Florida that'd let it go down. I've been wanting to paint a woman green forever.
Oh, wait. I think I do remember where it's at now. Okay. Maybe. Jesus Christ. So I've been active on Twitter apparently lately.
Oh no, not you.
Here we go. This normally I haven't been like for a while there I was kind of backing off the whole thing. All right, I found it. I found the thingy. So here's some concept stuff for I guess Kim Kardashian, not Cardi B, but let's see if we can bring that up a little bit closer.
Too close. No, go ahead.
Had some makeup work done to make yourself look like this. Somebody was going like, "Oh, she dressed like a lizard person." Ha ha! It's on the nose, and I had to point out that crocodilians are not lizards. But
right, morons.
And I got to say, the makeup artist did a fucking great job.
I'll give you that, but and as a cryptid, I'd still hit it.
This is some high level shit. Oh, no doubt. So the other one is kind of a proof of concept art piece of art. I don't think it's actually a photo of her, because if you'll notice, she's only got 4 toes.
That checks out
on each foot.
She's
I'm pretty sure this is a piece of art.
Prosthetically put together.
Yeah, that foot's pretty narrow for that. To just like not have a toe there.
It does look like art though, but yes. I'm just saying there's possibilities.
But this is the concept of that. And I'm thinking right that this could be a way to not only have a meth gator but also titties.
Well,
I don't need a scaly thing. I just got done with Dermy's fucking furry kink. God damn it, Sam.
All right, hold on. There are titties on the screen right now. Never mind. You can start complaining again.
Oh, nope, they're back.
Then shut up. Don't start. Oh, by the way, I heard tell something about a cat suit, a cat woman. What was that? Where's the link? How do I find it? Where is it? Backstage?
Oh,
okay.
Right. A lot has happened since then. Let me find.
I don't think I've had I don't think I have that saved anywhere.
Oh, how dare you, bro? Did you get my email with the?
I don't jerk off to my friends, dude.
Here, you fucking freaks.
Vengeance is mine, saith the squad.
I can't get rid of here. There. So I don't jump scare you with Dermy.
Ooh, nice.
See, don't do no Derminess. No, none of that.
If I exit out of it, you'll see Dermy. So I won't do that to you. There you go.
Thank you for this and for not showing me Dermy. I appreciate it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just made it.
The whole
Just made it number 2.
I was almost there.
The number 2 best Catwoman. You just made it. Congratulations, number 2. Because Michelle is number 1.
Oh, you just haven't seen me do Catwoman.
No, I don't want to
Eartha
see
Kitt, buddy. Eartha Kitt.
I'll show Dermy. Don't tempt me.
All right, no Catwoman's for you. Gotcha.
Oh, Cavitano, yes, Crackoon is an actual movie title. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I also suggested some alternate movies for Sasquatch to pursue, such as Cocaiman, for example.
Cocaiman's good one. I like
or,
that.
Or yeah, that one I'm pretty proud of. Or like GHB Gariel, right? These are all crocodilians.
My favorite I saw was the fentanyl ferret.
Yeah.
What? I got to see that movie.
It's for me to make and you to watch.
But
don't say
it's
too
not
much
going to be that
about it,
exciting. He
'cause
ain't,
you know
he ain't going to do
somebody
nothing
will
but have a cardiac arrest and die. So
Yeah. No, he's going to get killed by the New York State, obviously.
Well, that's horrifying, Capitano. That there's a movie called Catnado. That's like my worst goddamn nightmare.
Actually, it's filmed from the perspective of a guy who has cat allergies. And all it is him running around trying to find some Claritin D.
Oh, wow.
There might be a movie coming out about flaming cobras. You never know. You don't know who watches this channel.
Look, there was a movie years ago on Sci-Fi Channel called Lavalantula, which was about these giant tarantulas that came out of a fucking volcano made of lava that spit fire. So, I mean, anything's possible, right? Also, it was some of the worst fucking CGI ever made.
I don't know. I've seen the Scorpion King, bro.
Yeah,
So this came out after the Scorpion King, and it was still worse. I fucking loved it.
Bro. Oh, wow.
Dude, Sci-Fi Channel used to make these in-house fucking movies with the worst fucking budgets, but some of the most fun actors to watch. That you know, and they'd put out a new one every Saturday or some shit. It was
when
a good
Nintendo
time.
Power went down, I dedicated my life to working at Sci-Fi, and when Sci-Fi went bad, I was just like, I'm just gonna have to be independently wealthy. I can't work for these people.
Yeah.
There's a movie called Catnado.
Sci-Fi with the Y's or the I? Which one did you work for?
The early ones. Do you remember before Sci-Fi Channel actually went live? They had all of those stupid forecasts as clawful.
Look, man, I hate cats, but I fucking love a good pun.
That's because you're a dad.
I'm sure that's a cat-ass trophy. Oh, I can do this all night. I've read Zant novels. I could ruin his whole show.
Oh man, that's fucking great.
Don't be shitting kittens.
Well, I think we've probably laughed enough. So I'm gonna bring up some fucking depressing shit now.
Oh yay!
I'm gonna laugh at it.
Yay, depressing shit. Yay.
That's what I came here for.
All right, so it is though. I am going to. I'm going to bring this up because a friend of mine asked me to bring it up because currently the entire citizenry of the UK is under a gag order. They can't talk about this shit. Instead of sequestering the jury in the specific case away from, media that might influence the outcome of their decision, they sequestered everybody in the fucking country, which is retarded. If you talk about this and you're a UK citizen, you can go to jail for obstruction of justice and tampering with the trial. Right? Completely fucked up.
How come they didn't do that with George Floyd? That would have been nice.
Because we're not the fucking UK.
I was just going to say, because we have fucking
nice.
a thing here called free fucking speech.
We do.
All right.
We do.
So the man who is guilty of the Southport attacks, which I believe 3 girls lost their lives in, is also suspected of being a jihadist, looking to blow some shit up.
No way. You mean
Not
the person
now this
I know.
innocence
this
happens to want
this
to
comes
destroy
after
innocence?
this comes after like months and months and months of these people going out of their way and saying, no, he's a good, you know, English or Welsh or whatever the fuck boy. He's, you know, and he's a Christian and he's one of us and all this stuff. It's like I don't know that he is, dude. I don't know that he is. So, and here's the thing. I am not subject to British law. None of us on the panel are. We can talk about this all the fuck we like, and somebody should be.
British law.
Yeah. So Southport. I keep saying Park. Southport attack suspect.
It's funnier when you say South Park.
Yeah. I know.
When you said it, I was just like, contain the laughter. Contain the laughter. I'm not going to correct
attack
you.
Suspect.
And he's dead.
Axel Rudakubana, facing charges of making biological weapon and possession of jihadi terror manual.
His name definitely sounds
specifically. I think it comes from ISIS. Yeah, no, he's the 18-year-old accused of murdering 3 young schoolgirls in Southport and attempting to murder 10 other people has now also been charged with attempting to make a biological weapon using the toxin ricin. Right? Haven't heard about ricin in a while. The last time was in fucking Japan, like 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. You know, with the subway attacks that they had over there?
You know the disturbing part about ricin, bro?
It can be absorbed through the skin.
No, it's so easy to manufacture. You can do it in a basic kitchen, bro.
Yeah.
I can do it in a bad
most effective shit.
Put the link in the back.
No, don't be saying that shit. In addition, he is facing a second new charge under the Terrorism Act, the British Terrorism Act, of possessing an Al-Qaeda terror manual, which kind of could sort of be blamed on my country because we all know that the CIA created and manufactured Al-Qaeda. But
all Christians have that manual, sir.
Right. So the dramatic announcement came from Merseyside Police after 3 months in which authorities indicated that they found no link to terrorism following the July 29th attack. At a news conference at Merseyside, Jesus Christ, these English names, police headquarters, Chief Constable Serena Kennedy told reporters that new evidence was discovered by officers searching Rudakubana's home in the aftermath of the attack. By the way, this image here, this is from the court Argos or whatever. This is one of the only images that they are allowing out that does not show him as a fucking 10-year-old boy. They want you to feel sympathy for this man. They want you to think he's just a sweet little boy. He is an 18-year-old man. He is a grown-ass man.
And he has a list of charges that would make Lex Luthor cringe.
Yeah. And they're just they refuse to show him as he is now in the media in England. Chief Constable Kennedy said a substance was discovered and sent for analysis for the government's Defense Science and Technology Laboratory at Porton Down in Wiltshire. Again with the fucking English names. That analysis has confirmed the substance as ricin, which again, the last time I heard ricin being used in any kind of like serious attack was like in the subway attacks in Japan, however many years ago that was, right? I think that was mid 2000s, early to mid 2000s, somewhere in there. So I'm not saying people haven't used it, but this isn't like a commonly used thing, surprisingly, given how easy it is to find and make and get a hold of.
Ricin is one of those things. It's much like when you get it introduced into your system, it's like getting radiation poisoning. Mm-hmm. It kills everything in your body.
Yeah. And it's very difficult to handle because, like I said, it can be absorbed through the skin. Just touching it can kill you eventually. Let's see. Authorities say that ricin was not used in the Southport attack, and no traces of toxin were found at the Hart Space venue where the attack took place. I mean, didn't he stab those girls? He is already facing 3 counts of murder, 10 counts of attempted murder, and a charge of possessing a bladed article. There you go. Bebe King 6, Elsie Dot Stancombe 7, and 9-year-old Alice De Silva Aguiar died in the knife attack at a Taylor Swift themed dance class. 8 other primary school-age children and 2 adults who were at the venue were injured in the attack. Merseyside police. God damn it! I hate talking about that shit. So this is a problem, UK. This is a problem that you have, right? It isn't about guns. It's about violence. It's never been about guns. The fact that you people don't, allow like citizens to have guns without special consideration, that doesn't have anything to do with it. Obviously, your knife tack shit is way the fuck out of control. I refer you to the Knife Angel statue in London. I think it's still in London. And it's made up almost entirely of blades that were used to kill someone, taken from evidence. This is a very serious fucking problem you have. You do not have a problem with knives. You do not have a problem with guns. You have a problem with people who are going around fucking murking other people. Right? And it's in particular, in this case, fucking kids. Right? There are 2 adults in this class. Those 2 adults were charged with the protection of those kids while they were in their custody, while they were, teaching this class. That's how that works, right? You drop your kids off at a class. The adult who is in charge is responsible for them while they have them. Those 2 adults should have put themselves between the kids in the fucking first place. I mean, I know this kid came in swinging and all that shit, but you throw yourself on that fucking knife blade to keep it from going into anybody else.
And I'll go a step further on that. Once you have control of the knife blade, whether it's with your hands or with the torso of your own body, you eliminate the threat. It's like jumping on a grenade to save your family.
Mm-hmm.
You eliminate the threat.
Yeah. So this is, of course, what he's on currently on trial for. This other stuff has been uncovered more recently. But I submit to you, UK, that if people are taking kids out, then you've got a problem. And I honestly, I look at stuff like this, and then I look at how much shit they give us about school shootings and shit like that. And I'll grant you, the school shootings need to fucking stop. They do. Taking away guns is not the solution for that.
It's not. And putting guns in school is not the solution, but removing the 0 gun zone in a school might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, these things only happen in heavily gun-controlled areas, cities.
But the point
all
is
schools are gun control zones. All.
Like posted as.
Yeah, but we do not actually have a monopoly on violence against kids.
Nope.
We don't. Anybody who says that we do has clearly never seen the fucking child soldiers in the Middle East. First of all,
I do gotta admit though, I do like the memes I've been seeing around. They're real funny where, it opens with the school shooter and 2 guys hiding under the desk, and one's going through his phone and the other one's freaking out. And it's like, first time.
Yeah, I remember that too. Look, I'm not saying that we don't have a problem. I'm just saying we aren't the only ones with the problem, and it gets blown out of proportion and exaggerated by a lot of other people outside of this country because they don't understand why we like our guns so much. They also don't really, if they were to agree with us, they would not be allowed to, and that's why we like the guns, because we can say what we fucking want. But that said, like England, protect your kids. Protect your kids. Keep shit like this from happening. I understand that sometimes, from what I understand though, this kid was on the fucking radar, like they usually are. They knew that he had some leanings. They knew he had some kind of background that would explain some of this shit.
I don't think it's just a us thing when on the radar seems to mean being instructed, let's say.
At the very least, known to the authorities to be a potential threat.
Or are they just being allowed to be a potential threat is my issue.
I mean, yeah.
Is that what
MK
on their
Ultra
list
is not. Yeah, MK Ultra was not limited to United States. I do believe that MI6 had a hand in that as well. Either that, or, and I'm just going to say this here,
Ruined.
you know, you UK citizens out there who are sick to death of the way that your fucking government is clamping down on everything, right? Take it back and don't half-ass it. You know, because otherwise this shit's just going to get fucking worse.
Is your tea that
And you're not going to be allowed to talk about it like you're not here. You know, man, I'm so fucking tired of hearing about kids.
I'm tired of
getting
propaganda.
killed.
I'm tired of the entirely bent narrative that everyone in America is racist unless they vote a certain way, unless they look a certain way, unless they wear a mask, unless you don't wear a mask, unless you know, are with guns or against guns, unless you are one thing or another. It's an just endless tirade of absolute unmitigated bullshit. Sorry.
No.
I have a theory I want to float around. For the last 4 years, maybe more than the last 4 years, everything has been adding up to one thing. There is one thing you can't do as a politician, an influencer, and a celebrity, and that's speak about unity. If you speak about unity, you will be killed. You can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. You can do anything you want, but you cannot take down the existing dividing lines. Like, there will never be a presidential candidate that says, I want to bring Democrats and Republicans together. You never hear that, because if he does that, he's dead. This is my theory. They need everybody divided, or else they have no power. Which is why you cannot identify as non-racial. You can identify as non-binary, but you cannot identify as non-racial, because they need that dividing line to do all the other bullshit, which we've learned the last 4 years. You can't do any of that stuff that's been happening the last 4 years without racial division. There needs to be some kind of dividing line. You can do two things as the people I mentioned, the politician, the influencer, and the celebrity. You can do one or two things. Number one, you can add more dividing lines, which is what they prefer. Number two, don't fuck with the existing dividing lines. But if you do number three, try to erase the dividing lines, you're dead. Just my theory.
Is that socially dead or physically non-living?
Physically, most likely physically, or in prison.
Cancel culture has been going super hard for a while, and it's only just now starting to trip up on the basis of facts and whatnot. And still, they implement these things under wraps, behind covers, and where people can't see it actually happening. They shadow ban channels. They throttle different perspectives. They completely eliminate an entire 3-hour Joe Rogan interview from search as a technical issue.
Yeah, after it got like 35 million views in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have since rectified that, but only due to overwhelming pressure.
JD Vance's Joe Rogan is getting up there too, because they got 5 million. 2 million in 5 hours. So it's climbing up there too.
So, yeah, I couldn't get the whole JD Vance thing. It was kind of boring, if I'm being honest.
I like JD Vance. I didn't know.
I like him too, and I like Joe Rogan.
I like
the conversation wasn't that interesting.
Hold up. I want to be perfectly clear. When it comes to politicians, I prefer boring. Boring is okay for politicians. It is not okay for people who live in the limelight trying to do the superstar thing, but a politician should be boring. You do not want a bombastic politician. I could name a few old school bombastic politicians.
But I didn't want to sit through the whole fucking interview because of that.
Be boring.
All right, dude, I understand. I didn't watch it either because it's boring, but I'm just saying it should
What's wrong with y'all?
be boring.
I got halfway through the interview, man, and I was like, I got to go listen to something else. This is not like, because I listened to this shit while I'm working, man, and I was like, I'm going to sleep, and I'm on my feet.
He's better than Pence. You gotta admit he's better than Pence.
Dude, a fence post is better than Pence. Like that's not a high bar.
My dad has a chicken that's better than Pence.
Right?
Paint drying is better than pens. Chalk
So,
on
to-
chalkboards better than pens.
That's
get back
racist.
to get back
It
to
is, isn't it?
the article here. And I did feel that it's not just because their names are in the article that I felt the need to read them out, but also because I think people need to remember. And I won't remember. So I'm saying them out loud here so that they're out there for posterity so people can hear it. Because I don't remember shit. It's a curse. So the second new charge was that he had, I guess he had allegedly downloaded a terrorist manual. All right, so this would have been dark web shit if it was anything. It says second new charge related to possession of information. Right. First of all, the charge is possession of information. How fucked up is it that your country even has charges like that?
You know a thing, and we know you know a thing, and you're thinking about that thing, and now you're guilty.
So real quick, Gal had to take off. She had some other things to get to. So go check her channel out. It's the link is in the description below and all that. So yeah. Tis what it is. We're going to continue on, but thank you, Gal, for being here. We appreciate you as always.
Much love as always.
Yeah. So, but the charge here, possession of information. All right. So they do expand on that, but the fact is that the basic fucking charge is possession of information. Fuck England, man. fuck the UK, in terms of like their laws and their governments and shit. This is retarded.
I've kind of gotten fed up with some of their people. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, that too. Namely, a PDF file. I had to read this a couple times because PDF file has become a euphemism for a completely different thing on the internet.
And this is because of censorship.
Which PDF file are you talking about?
I'm talking about an actual file.
That
is on your computer.
Okay.
So, a PDF file entitled "Military Studies in the Jihad Against the Tyrants: The Al Qaeda Training Manual." This is likely to be useful to a person committing or preparing to commit an act of terrorism, contrary to Section 58 of the Terrorism Act of 2000. There's a little map of Southport and where the stabbings occurred.
Was that Nene?
Who?
Squatch, was that Nene?
What you mean?
You flashed a picture of Nene.
Oh, maybe. Hold on. Let's see. See, it's time to throw some shade.
Yeah, Nene.
Because sometimes you just got to throw some shade. So I got her up here for me just whenever I need it.
Yeah. So, we got, man, this is so fucked up. So I'm not trying to defend the kid when I say that is a bullshit charge, right? I think that he's an evil piece of shit and he needs to go away probably forever because he just snuffed out 3 young lives, right? Anybody who harms children needs to stop being part of society one way or the other, period.
Do they have executions over there?
At this point, I would like to sell you a brand of wood chippers I call PDF Elites.
I'd be happy if they took them to the fucking Tower of London and do what they used to do there, and put their heads out on the fucking on the London Bridge.
We were talking about the use of shame and whether or not shame is a useful function in modern society. And I am dude, I'm totally under the impression we should be bringing back the stockade and rotten fruit. I'm telling you, bro. We would have a major overtax on the system for a little while, but then suddenly people would stop messing up so bad.
Look, it's gruesome and it's ugly and it's nasty business, but heads on fucking pikes in public is a very effective deterrent.
Yes.
Historically speaking, you are correct.
Yes. Since
and they used to decorate the London Bridge with the heads of executed criminals, traitors, and enemies to the country.
Yep.
Nothing says don't fuck with me like that.
Like a head on a stick. You damn right. You're like, this is the last guy to fuck with me. He's right here.
Right here. Do you want to join them or what?
And you're signing up. That's what you're doing. So sit down, shut up, chill out.
As long as we're going draconian here, I think we should go whole hog. That's all I'm saying.
Right? I'm talking, I want presses. I want the Spanish Inquisition. I want stockades on the freaking courthouse lawn. Don't mess with me. I'm slightly right of Genghis Khan.
I mean, it works in prison. Are you going to fuck with the guy that got teardrops tattooed on his face? No, you're not.
Look,
if he wants me to, yes, sir, I probably am.
So Alex Jones put out a thing the other day where he was reposting somebody else, and he's like, do you guys agree with this or whatever? And the thing was somebody who was identifying with Adolf Hitler, right? That's apparently been a more and more prevalent thing that's coming out lately. I don't think that that's necessarily a great thing, because whether or not you agree with any of the man's policies or any of the things that had happened under his regime, because not everything that happened had anything to do with had to do with exterminating another people. Some of it had to do with making the fucking trains run on time, pun intended.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I don't think he's necessarily the guy to emulate in terms of, like, I mean, yeah, I guess if you want to be, notorious forever or whatever. So I responded to that, and I said that actually I kind of identify, I have a lot more in common with this guy. And I put up a GIF of Vlad the Impaler. Right.
My question is, if our society has porn, why can't we have public executions? Isn't porn more repulsive than public executions?
I suppose that depends on your perspective, and it depends on.
I just want to bring this up. Can you imagine going to interview the president, and you go through the front gates at the White House, and you walk up the White House lawn, and there's the president eating breakfast in the middle of his forest of piked heads?
That's a badass. That president is a badass.
Vlad the Impaler invited his enemies to breakfast, laid out a full buffet in the shade of his conquered enemies.
Are you going to make a severed head statue?
So there's more to that story
of a guy like that.
There's more to that story.
There's more to that story. So I might be not. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I might be one of the foremost, like, random asshole on the internet authorities on Vlad the Impaler. I've read about everything there is to read about the guy.
Yeah, me too.
So during this dinner, somebody complained about the stench, right? And so Vlad had him impaled on a stake that was twice as long as all the ones with the rotting bodies around the table, so that he didn't have to be bothered by the smell while he was,
He's got a sense of humor.
Oh, dude, all of this was a sense of humor. The forest of bodies they were eating breakfast in, they were eating dinner in, was the forest of bodies of this dude's army that had come to attack Vlad. And so he was like, oh, we'll discuss peace. Talk about it as much as you like.
I want to get more into that, but I do want to finish this with the GBN here. So yeah, the dude got found with the fucking manual and all that. Apparently, he had the ricin in his place. Merseyside Chief Constable says, I want to reassure the communities of Southport and all the communities of Merseyside that we are committed to getting justice for the families of baby Elsie and Alice, the 10 victims who were injured at Hart Street, the other 16 people who were present that day. Fuck, man. All of this with one knife, by the way. All of this with one knife. A guy with a knife should not be able to cause this much fucking havoc, right? Brits, you need to get your balls back.
Yeah.
I know that. I know how it is, though. I know how it is. You go to jail for defending yourself or someone else. It's fucked up. I get it, but you could also save some lives.
They don't have self-defense over there.
Oh no.
This you have what is called.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. It depends on whether or not they're native to England and or a darker shade.
Also, they have mandatory retreat statutes. If you are braced by a ruffian in the street, you are supposed to retreat to your car. If you're braced by a ruffian in your car, you're supposed to retreat to your home. And if you're braced by a ruffian in your home, you're supposed to retreat from your home. I got lines I draw.
So
how you supposed to do that if
don't? That's bullshit. It's all trash. It makes no
Don't.
sense.
No, it's
Duty to retreat. That's the
garbage
word.
and horseshit.
Duty to retreat.
So apparently, despite the news charges, counterterrorism police say they are not declaring the Southport attack a terrorist incident, despite the fact that now we have evidence that a terrorist, in fact, committed the fucking incident. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking done sharing this.
Can't we discuss something wholesome like Kamala Harris?
Like Vlad the Impaler.
Wholesome or wholesome?
Holes.
Yeah, so yeah, it's that's what it is. But I did promise my buddy I'd bring that up. I don't know too much about it beyond what the information he's given me, because even the media is gagged on this, over there. They're not letting out too much more information than that, under penalty of I don't know, obstructing the fucking trial or whatever. You can get thrown in jail just for talking about it if you're a British citizen. I mean, even I imagine they could probably come after you if you were in Texas but a British citizen, which is stupid.
I wonder about dual citizenship status.
Well, I don't even mean dual citizenship. I mean just like on a fucking like vacation visa.
I was just curious. I'm wondering, where would that put you in these laws when you're in the U.S. and protected by the Constitution, but you're a citizen of Britain?
If you maintain citizenship in another country, I think you're subject to that country's laws as well.
But when you go back, then they can still get you, like they did Tate in Romania.
Pretty much.
They tried to charge him over there and have him extradited so they can go to jail in England. So yeah.
To be fair, he wouldn't be hiding in Romania if he wasn't guilty of something. But yes,
that's another podcast.
I do got an issue with this on at least one level. We got the concept of due process over here, and I'm not too sure exactly how due the process was on those particular cases. I don't know.
Yeah. No, either. It's a so Vlad the Impaler, right? Speaking of Romania, right?
He was a
Prince
sweet
of Wallachia. He was until his brother started getting raped by the Ottoman Sultan on occasion.
Yeah,
on the regular, and then decided he liked it and stayed a member of his harem until the day he fucking died.
And then Vlad became slightly offended with the world. It
was before his brother died, but yeah, the harem thing kind of put him off Turks.
Well, that's part of what drove him to be such a hardcore orthodoxy, right? Mm-hmm. He wasn't just a little orthodox, and he wasn't specifically proper orthodox either.
Well, he wasn't orthodox at all. He was operating under the Roman Catholic Church.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Roman Catholic Church has its own orthodoxy, and that orthodoxy is really strict. But Vlad wasn't actually doing that. He was basically just standing there with his finger up at the Ottomans, going, "Yeah, sure, I'm Christian."
Well, he
was
Middle East, or he was Middle Ages Christian in Eastern Europe, which means lots of bloodshed.
Facts. But basically, he turned and looked at everybody, was like, "Look, y'all can have your heads cut off by them, or you can have your heads cut off by me. At least I'll send you to heaven." And they were like, "Well, that settles it."
Right. Well, here's an interesting thing about him. He is regarded as a folk hero and a national hero in Romania, and for good fucking reason, because without him, the Ottoman Empire would have extended much further into Europe than they ever did. Right. He prevented the sweep of Islam from taking over a lot of fucking Europe hundreds of years ago.
And he provided a cautionary tale for any other ambitious Ottomans that wanted to wander across that border, that not all these Christians are exactly soft and fuzzy. Some of them got a line and you don't cross it, and it's that border.
Yeah. Andy Pickle, no, it wasn't exactly Eastern Orthodoxy. I think this was around the time of the split, because this would have been in 1430 something. But no, he was under the auspices of the Holy Roman Empire. And the reason for that, the reason I say that is because his very name, his title, Dracula, is Romanian for son of the devil or son of the dragon. What it is an inherited title that he got from his father, Vlad II, right? Because he was Vlad III, who earned that title from the Knights Templar and the Order of the Dragon under the auspices of the Roman papacy.
Do you know what
Which,
the Order of the Dragon was
I didn't know
famous
that's
for?
what his name meant. I didn't know that.
You know what the Order of the Dragon was famous for? Or infamous, rather?
Well, murdering Turks, first of all.
They were the ones you called when you had a Turkish problem and you didn't want Turkish anymore. They were infamous for complete elimination of a particular species of enemy.
Yeah, I think that's so when you become inducted into the Order of the Dragon, that means you were a real nasty member of the Templars, kind of thing.
Real bad.
On top of that, his father was not just a member of the Templars, but he was also I think by birthright voivoda of Wallachia, which translates to prince, or whatever. It's not exactly a prince, but he was essentially nobility in a place called Wallachia. Before Romania was united as one country, it was actually 3 separate kingdoms, if you will. Wallachia was one of them. Transylvania is another one, and I forget what the name of the third one is. Moldovia, Moravia, something like that. All 3 of those provinces are in modern Romania, but Transylvania actually is, I think, not one of them. Now that I think about it, that's the arm of the Himalayan Alps that runs through that area. Is the Transylvanian Alps is where that comes from, and it doesn't even enter actually his actual territory of Wallachia. So make of that what you will. The geography is kind of a little fucked up, but they're sandwiched between Turkey and Hungary, right? So on the one hand, they were fighting the Turks for however fucking long, decades and decades and decades, but they would occasionally have to fight their Christian brothers on the Hungary side, some of whom were their relatives. For instance, John Hunyadi, who while I think the second time that Vlad the Impaler was imprisoned by the Turks, his father and his brother were betrayed in a battle by their cousin John Hunyadi, who was the regent of Hungary at that time, who then mutilated them alive and buried them alive horribly, kind of thing. While
Sir,
Vlad was off.
I have a question on that point. Is there any way to be mutilated and buried alive that's not horrible?
I'm sure that there's some ways that are probably less horrible. In the case of Mircea II, Vlad's older brother,
Okay, I'll give you that. But
they cut off his hands, they cut off his feet, they cut out his tongue, and they burned it with hot pokers. They burned his eyes out with hot pokers. They burned his nuts off with a hot poker. Like, they didn't cut them off; they burned them off.
They didn't let him bleed to death. They would cut and burn, cut and burn, cut and burn.
But in the case of his nuts, they just hot pokered them off. They didn't fucking cut. They just held the poker there till the nuts burnt off.
If you cut someone's hair that they've been growing for 9 years, isn't that mutilation?
Yeah. And they cut his ears off, and then they buried him alive.
That's a very humane way to mutilate somebody. Cut
Took
hair
about 12 fucking
9
hours.
years.
Yeah, it took about 12 hours for them to actually bury him alive after all the shit combined and all that stuff. And then he was down in the dark where he couldn't see or hear or speak or scream or claw or anything, and he had no nuts left.
No nuts. Damn.
Yeah. And eventually died of lack of oxygen. I would imagine he asphyxiated in the dark.
He didn't die of lack of nuts?
No, they made sure
this
he
might
survived.
surprise you, given our modern climate of openness and debate, that a person without nuts doesn't just die.
Explain.
Well, you see, when a young bird and a young tree decide that Tim Walsh, that works.
Tampon, Tim. That's a beautiful name for him, by the way.
Tim Balls. Yeah. So, but yeah. So this was kind of like the way of life back then, though, too. So Vlad is constantly touted as being like the most brutal guy. He wasn't even the most brutal guy in that century. you know.
Yeah, no,
but he
it's
was
weird,
pretty,
ain't it? There's
yeah,
folks
but he
over
was
there.
pretty brutal.
There was this one guy, and I can't remember his name because it's freaking 19 syllables long. He had a problem with there not being enough farmland and too many peasants. His response to this was to start a war with his neighbor, gather up all the peasants over there, bring them over to his farmland and kill them, lay them out even, and then kill half the peasants of his own and lay them out opposite direction. And then the following year, they had excellent freaking soil.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, blood is a really good fertilizing agent. Yeah, it just is. But yeah. So he did a bunch of shit that a lot of people would consider fucked up. But if you actually pay attention to the people he did impale on the regular, the people he did have mutilated and killed, the people that we're talking enemies of the state, traitors, spies, fucking corrupt politicians, and the one that I can't quite get behind, beggars. He didn't like beggars. He
I don't like
considered you a
beggars either.
freeloader and not a worthless person. Yeah, but I'm saying I don't know that that's necessarily, a reason to kill somebody.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it
Jesus,
is.
dude.
Extreme cases of
You
begging.
need Jesus,
Yes.
sir. You need Jesus.
All I'm saying is panhandling was not
Extreme
really an
cases.
issue while he was ruling Wallachia. Because
Ask
if
the
you
devil
did that,
himself.
he was
He
going
just
to have
entered
you
the
killed.
chat.
Yeah.
Ask the devil himself.
So, anywho, but like there was one incident, for example, like there was a council of politicians who were running things while he was gone. And he came back. He found out that a lot of them were taking bribes and they were bilking the people with taxes that didn't need to be levied against them, all to line their own pockets. So he invites all of them to a what I'm going to politely refer to as a barn burner, where it was a meeting that they were all supposed to go at this remote location in a wooden building, where he then proceeded to lock all of the corrupt politicians in his entire country into the same building and then burnt the thing down.
Have y'all seen Braveheart?
Yeah, they took that from Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, no, yes, that's exactly what they did. They're like, hey, we'll meet and treat for peace. And when they got there, they shut the doors and called the place on fire. We shall have peace.
Yeah. I mean, it worked. No more corrupt politicians. And he never replaced their positions.
It works real well.
Very, very effective. But thing is they were actively harming the citizens of the country too.
Yes. And it's extreme, it's over the top, but when you compare it to what some of his neighbors were doing, it's not really that far out of the vein, bro.
Well, if you were a productive member of society and you weren't harming your own people and you weren't a traitor, he didn't fucking come after you. He didn't. Yeah. He loved his country and he loved his people and he wanted to see them fucking prosper.
And they did. As wild as it sounds, in fact, for what was it, 200 years after, it was more or less straight up for the locals.
Yeah, his exploits really put a bad taste in the Ottomans' mouths.
They just decided that past didn't exist.
It wasn't fucking worth it, man.
Not at all. He eradicated 4 generations of assholes from the other side of the line in the sand.
And then he put their bodies on display, so many, in fact, that it looked like a forest.
I didn't use the forest as an analogy. I meant it.
Yeah. No, he erected so many stakes of bodies on them that. Yeah, there actually is a story of an army coming around the corner to invade him, and they run into this fucking thing that they thought was at first was in fact trees, but it wasn't. It was stakes with bodies on them, and some of them weren't even done dying yet. And there were thousands, tens of thousands of these things, far as the eye could see, because they thought it was a real forest. And they saw that shit and they're like, nope.
Yeah,
they turned around and went home.
They turned around, they sent a messenger back to the leader, who told them if they returned, they would have their heads removed. And the dude's response went something like, okay.
Right?
He went back. All right, you can cut my head off. At least I won't be sitting here like this asshole.
Yeah. Or that other time. So what's interesting to me is that the man had a fucking nasty sense of humor, right? There was a a period where 3 envoys from the Ottomans, I think it was Mahmud II, who was the ruler of the Ottomans at the time, sent an envoy to, make a deal, make peace or whatever, to the court of Vlad Tsipish Dracula, or Vlad the Impaler. And they get to court, and they get their audience with him, and he demands, whilst in this audience, that they remove their turbans while in his presence, for he finds them offensive. Right? Well, they refused because it is against their custom to remove their turbans in the presence of anyone. Right? So he said, since you refused, and I think he asked them like 3 times, or ordered them to it 3 times, and 3 times they refused. So he ordered his men to come out and nail the turbans to their skulls so that they would never be able to be removed again. And he did it with very short nails, so it didn't kill them. And then he sent them home. Right? Now, the sense of humor part comes from this. Vlad grew up in the Ottoman court. He knew very well what their fucking customs were. This was going to happen to these guys one way or the other. He knew they would refuse him before he gave that order. He knew it. One of my favorite stories of the guy. There was another one where a conquering army, and I don't remember if they were Turks. I don't believe they were. Well, he stopped them. He captured like 300 of them alive, right? And he told them, he's like, okay, y'all are going to swear your loyalty to me and serve me from now on. And of course, they said, no, you're our enemy. We're not going to do that. So he killed the first one, and then he had him boiled alive in oil, and then he force-fed him to the rest of his compatriots. And then he said, okay, now you're going to serve me. And they still said no. So he killed the next one and did it again, and on and on and on. And the story goes, I don't know how true this is. The story goes, he got down to like the last 3 of these 300 enemy soldiers before they finally had enough, their fill of their own fucking friends, and said, okay, we'll fucking serve you. And then I think he had them executed for being traitors to their own people.
Right. See, the thing is he was an excellent troll. He had a unbelievable understanding of both the Turkish and the, what do they speak? Armenian, Romanian, one of them, his own language and his enemy's language. And so he would do things specifically to make like subtextual points about how far you could push it, which was not at all. Don't fuck with me. that was the subtext. It's just no. It was like Walter White. This man was a genius at manipulating the enemy.
So, I don't know. I mean, I kind of admire the man, and I think there's a lot to be admired there. I think he had a way of cutting through political BS.
Isn't he
literally
the reason why we call footstools Ottomans?
Yeah.
Didn't he have a footstool bones made or something? I can't remember. It was like
no, dude. Yeah, like, so this was a thing that happened in the Ottoman court sometimes, that like a slave or a servant would act as a footstool. And yeah, I think he had one made out of like living Ottomans that were no longer living.
They were sort of. They were living but bent backwards and shit. It was, dude. Yeah. He was heinous. See, he applied to the Sherman applied to the Vlad the Impaler doctrine of war. You're gonna make them squeal.
Yeah, I like I said, the man was gruesome in his methods, but he was effective as hell. And I think people talk about Trump being no nonsense, no bullshit in politics, but this guy, oh man. And there's something to be admired there. Now, granted, it was a different time. Bloodshed was a lot more common and a lot more frequent, and frankly, at any moment,
cheap.
Very.
I mean, and that's unless you're an unborn fetus or a white American, that's not the life we lead today.
So yeah, it's obviously not something that we can go around doing now, knock on wood. But he
actually did it.
There are some things to be learned there, like some of the ways that he went about his shit. You don't necessarily have to actively impale people, but you don't have to put up with their bullshit either. That makes sense.
Well, I don't have to participate in your delusion, sir. And if you think me not participating in your delusion is violence, then you are even more delusional than I thought to begin with.
Well, that's why I refer people to people like Vlad the Impaler, man. It's like, you think this is violence? I invite you to research this gentleman over here who would also brook no truck with your bullshit.
Oh, wow. Dude, could you imagine what that forest would look like today?
Yeah, it'd be rainbow colored.
Like Pride Month.
Because, I mean, dude was a hardcore Christian too. You know?
There is nothing more dangerous than a man that believes he is operating for his own God.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because in his eyes, everything he does is good, no matter what it is.
Whether it's good or not, it's certainly justified.
Yep.
That's the thing. You know, and that's so on the one hand, yeah, there's a lot to be admired, but on the other hand, like you also get like zealotry is not a good thing. You know, it isn't a good thing because a zealot will burn down their entire fucking side just to make sure that you bleed a little because they believe they're in the right and God told them that it was okay.
Not only that, they believe that God will provide, and therefore they can eliminate everything they possess and own and everything they love, and God will provide more.
Mm-hmm.
But a zealot
Including
is
their own
different than an
families.
extremist. A zealot's different than an extremist.
I would say that that's only a matter of what's driving them.
Semantic. That's just semantic.
Yeah, what's driving it. And an extremist is usually politically motivated, whereas a zealot is usually motivated by a belief system.
I.e. political. Not
Yes.
always.
So you don't think
Usually you call the politics religion or you call the politics whatever, but it's still political. It's a control system to control other people.
You don't think our side needs extremists?
I think that extremists are uncontrollable.
Yes, there is no operating
They
through
have-
extremism.
But they have extremists.
Yes, but
Yeah,
you do
They
not
do, and they're uncontrollable.
So how do we fight them if we keep playing by the rules?
because we use the rules to limit their capability of doing damage. That's why we have laws. And as long as laws are actually enforced and we don't get this split-tiered justice system that we seem to be facing where the DOD goes after whoever they fucking please and not just criminals.
But what we've learned in the last 4 years is that they pick and choose which laws to enforce
Of course
based
they
on
do.
the person who is the defense. They pick and
Yeah.
choose it. So
You're
if they're
absolutely
going to
right.
break the rules, we need people on our side to break the rules, or else we're going to keep losing.
Here's the thing
Okay.
about that, though, Clue. It's like, I hear you, but at the same time, say we get a bunch of extremists and they go and break the rules and they win the whole shebang, kit and caboodle for us, right? They don't stop being extremists after that.
What
That's
you
what
do
they
is
are.
like-
It's what they do. So then you
Here's the
have to
thing.
turn on them or they will turn on you.
You've heard the classic liturgy that two wrongs don't make a right. What you are asking to do is fight fire with fire. When you do that, everything burns.
Yeah,
Everything.
but
Like,
when we
Now
don't
you're
do that, just
no
us,
but.
just we burn. We're the only ones
Yes.
to burn if we don't
Only
do
our
it.
front lines burn, bro. There's an entire culture behind it that stands because we stand by our values and morals, and we don't deal with
And we can beat their extremists.
ideals by standing fast and true to your morals and ideals. It's worked for the Christians for the past 2,000 years. I see no
That's a good
reason that
point.
it won't work in the future.
That's a good point.
Well,
That's a good.
yeah, and here's the other from the other side of it, Clue. Right from the other side of it, there are extremists on the other side. These extremists are going to do extreme things until they get their way or whatever. If the other side, if communism takes a permanent hold, right? If they win, the very first thing they're going to do is they're going to take all those extremists and they're going to put them up against a wall and they're going to fucking kill them
So-
because extremists
Yeah, that's true.
cannot be controlled.
The
That's right.
useful idiots are merely the bodies on top of the bodies they put in the mass grave.
I agree with that because a traitor is a traitor no matter what side he's on. That I believe in. Yeah.
So yeah, and
yeah,
it's like with
you
extremists,
betrayed
it's not
your
even
side to help us, but dude, you're still a traitor, so we got to put you down.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's not even just the traitor stuff. You can't have people who are willing to go to extremes to get what they want running around scot-free. You can't have that shit. They only allow that shit while they're trying to gain power, never while they have power.
Right.
Right. It's
But
the
the
same
traitors
reason,
don't
the
know
same
that.
reason the
That's why they
Nazis put
agree
the
to it.
brown shirts in the ground. You know, it's because they couldn't
Exactly.
have
I
these
was
guys
gonna
going
bring
around
that up.
stirring up trouble because they aren't going to stop. You know,
There were two sets of brown shirts, and a lot of people want to conflate this thing. There were the ones who actually orchestrated the overthrow and the ones who perpetrated the overthrow. That whole Reichstag thing, most of those people finished.
That's also why Pence will never be president. You're a traitor, bro.
well,
Democrats don't respect you just as much as we don't.
honestly, dude, even if he had certified all that shit, Pence would never have been president, dude. That guy was entirely too fucking milquetoast. He was never going to win a fucking
Dude,
electorate on his own.
Milk Toast is offended by that.
I know. But he was kind of like the Spiro Agnew of our times, never going to win the presidency on his own. You know? And for those of you who don't remember, Spiro Agnew was Richard Nixon's vice president.
The point is,
But
there's a reason.
It's fine if you don't remember, because nobody remembers these guys.
Yeah, there's a reason you don't
That's a
remember
weird
him.
name for a vice president.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's kind of my point. Is like vice presidents don't get remembered. When people talk about the Reagan years, they don't talk about George Herbert Walker Bush, but he was vice president during that time. They only talk about him while he was president.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Right.
Same for Al Gore and Clinton.
Right. You know, or and actually the only reason anybody's talking about Kamala Harris or remembers Kamala Harris is because she is currently vice president.
Right. Currently.
Right. And if she does not win, then she will be forgotten.
She is also the only functional cog near the Oval Office.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Hey, what do y'all think about Joe Brandon or Joe Biden turning on him? Do you think he's turning on the Dems?
I think he's just what the hell he's doing.
He's just done, and he don't give a fuck about anything anymore. I think he cares more about ice cream and clean diapers than he does about Kamala's winning.
But his whole life is politics. I think he really wanted his life work to end in a 2-term presidency, and they took
that ain't gonna happen.
Yep, but wouldn't you be kind of bitter if your whole 50 years of your life given over to politics
maybe on the good days where he's lucid. Maybe on the good days where he's lucid. The rest of that time, I don't think he's actually even all that aware of what's going on. And when he is, he's taking shots at them, but he hasn't stopped taking shots at Trump. You know, I think he's just fucking swinging wildly, because he knows he's out.
Windmilling, as they call it, windmilling.
Yeah, he's also lame duck at this point.
For a while, I didn't even know if he was still president. I'm like, okay, is the dude? Is she already president and we don't know?
No, it's the powers that be behind the concert. You know, she's not making those calls, dude. Somebody's running the country, and it's not him. It's not Kamala. So who's at the head? Who is it? Nancy Pelosi's not speaking
either Soros or somebody that's close to Soros.
It's somebody pulling Soros' strings. All Soros is the fucking money guy. He does not make fucking policy. He answers to other people.
Do you know how the mafia manage their underlings? None of the underlings know exactly who they work for. So they go to their particular, what do they call them? The soldiers, the
bosses, the bosses,
not soldiers. There's a word. It's like capo or something. I can't remember. Anyway, capo. They go to their capos, right? The capos hand out the money. The capo is really the only person who knows for sure where these orders are coming from, and the only thing they know is that somebody closer to the top told them. So if the top swings, nobody knows about it for a while, but the business continues to function as though he's still at the head, and you don't find out there's been a change of power until they show up later with the bang squad and put you in the back seat of a limo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I think the term for the guy at the top was capo di tutti capo.
Right. So
something like
What
that.
I'm not, yeah, no, there's
Boss of
another
all
one.
bosses. Yeah, capo just
Boss
means
of
boss in
boss.
Italian.
Right. But what I'm getting at is if you follow the money to a location in a mafioso situation, you will find a capo, and that'll be it. You'll Rico his ass, take him and 10 people to jail, and you feel like you've done something, but you have not actually touched the family. This man was hired, was employed by the family, but is not a made man. He's not significant in the grand scheme of things.
So the mafia set up that people at the top are, the whole thing is decentralized as opposed to centralized like government
Right.
is. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, like a terrorist cell.
They actually kind of have a pulsating effect, because depending on how tight the net around them is, they either move together or move apart. So you may have one in Cleveland, one in New York, one in Florida, and but they're still the five, and they make those decisions, and the boss doesn't get bothered until they can't do it. So when the cops aren't an issue, when they're not hot under the flames and they're not under high suspicion, they'll all move back to New York and live in the same neighborhood. The very second somebody shows up, is like, by the way, they're looking into you again, they've suddenly got shit elsewhere to go do. And you don't see them again in the state for, 5 years, 8 years, until some capo gets picked up, locked up, and all his underlings go, and everybody cheers and pats themselves on the back, and it goes back to paying the big.
Squatch, you know a lot about the mafia. You know a little too much.
I've been accused of knowing a lot about a lot of stuff for some reason.
Yeah, in this case, a lot of that stuff is public record. Most of those
it's just
organizations have a lot of those organizations have guys who have left those organizations or even still part of those organizations, but are doing time, have written fucking books about this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's his name? Frank. Oh, I can't think of his last name.
Henry Hill did.
Yeah, the Iceman.
Fucking. Well, there was Sammy Gravano, but that was a whole other fucking can of fucking worms.
I learned everything I need to know about the mafia from My Blue Heaven.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the meat department? You're gonna ruin all of this meat.
So the top government is not unlike that. It's very much run but like a criminal organization is. They don't know who the top boss is because they can't know who the top boss is. The top boss is probably, for my money, is likely a cabal of fucking overseas assholes. But Penny Pickle here saying his name is Barry Soetoro. No, Barry Soetoro is a fucking middleman, dude. I'm sorry, he is.
No. You're talking about Barack Obama.
I know who Barry. I know who Barack Obama is. Barry.
I think we just lost Sam.
Oh, he said something about Barack Obama, and they got him.
This is when we do our.
He is in no way in charge.
It's time for me and Clue to do a speed date.
What? No, they ain't happening. No,
I think they got me for a second.
Got you for a second.
You did, because you said Barack. You're not supposed to talk about the man.
You said Barack Obama's real name is, and it went out.
Yeah. Well, my point is he's just the fucking middleman. He's the guy they picked to make sure that shit runs smoothly. That's why he's still running the fucking Biden crime organization, if you will. He's still running that shit from behind the scenes
because racism was dying.
He's the cop. He's the capo that Squatch was talking about. He answers to someone else.
Like I was saying, when you follow the money back, you get to a lower boss. You get to somebody who's in charge of just the people that are distributing this money. That's Soros. That's your freaking money guys.
Yep, Soros is a money guy. He also has close ties with the WEF, with the Bilderbergs, with fucking Iran, which is amazing because they hate Jews. But
Jerry just pop up in chat?
But Sam is the top. Whoever the top quote unquote guy is, if it's a decentralized organization, then the top guy is not a guy at all. It's just a list of directives, right? It's just you do A, B, C, D, E, and F on a list. That's it.
I think it's probably time we brought this picture back up.
I mean, homie couldn't look more like a Bond villain if he was actually in the book.
Yeah. So a while back, a little over a year and a half ago, we had an actor and writer and producer by the name of Corin Nemec on the show.
Yes.
Right. Y'all might know him
Harold.
from Stargate, from
Stand.
The Stand, from Parker Lewis Can't Lose. He's done tons of stuff. He's also a very chill guy who's very gracious enough to spend some time with us on here talking conspiracy theories because he happens to be an enthusiast himself and a Freemason. So there's that. And when I mentioned Darth Schwab to him, he brought up an interesting point to me that I hadn't even considered at that time. But that Darth Schwab is not the emperor. He's the face of the empire. He's their figurehead. He's the one that they put out on Front Street that everybody looks to while the guys behind him are off doing something shady.
So he's like the president of the United States.
If he outranked the president of the United States, sure.
A figurehead, yeah. That's pretty,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think he is a figurehead, but he's not the ultimate one in charge. He's the public face of it.
So Sam,
well, hold on, man. If that's the public face of this dark empire, then can you imagine what the actual evil bastard looks like? He's got to be like a small Asian schoolgirl.
Yeah.
Think about it. If this was an anime, it would be Kimiko Kamachi over there, and she would be in her like year 11.
Yeah.
I might have gone too deep for that one.
You talking about Kim Jong Un's sister?
Yeah,
whatever.
Andy. That's because I like SG1 better than I like Parker Lewis.
I didn't say that, YouTube. That was a recording of somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, Andy. It's one of the earlier episodes of SITV. I think it's around episode 40 something or other, but
it was 2022.
It's one of the very few episodes that I've actually included the name of the guest in the title, so it's pretty easy to find. Sasquatch is giving me.
I'm like, Sam rolls in high circles over here. Shit, he knows Corin.
I've told this story. I've told this story before, but you know, when I got asked how I fucking scored having him on as a guest, I was like, I asked him.
You said yes.
That's pretty much it. And then he's like, hey, you know, go email this address over here and set up the details. And so I did. And I was like, yeah, so we can set up something down for the road for when he's available. And they're like, yeah, he can do it in 8 days. And I was like, holy shit, really?
I'm gonna need some time. I need to prepare. Oh my god.
I was like, I'm not fucking ready. You know? But no, he was very, very cool, very gracious, and a lot of fun to talk to. I'd actually like to get him on again some point. And he did seem to enjoy himself, so I think we could probably make that happen down the road. But it was a good interview. He gave us an hour of his time. So,
hey Sam, after that, I think it was like a couple of months after that, he posted, on X. I know you don't call it X, you call it Twitter or Twix, but he posted, "What was your favorite character that I played?" I put on there Harold Lauder, and then he engaged with me.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, that's my favorite one too.
He is one of the few people on there who actually actively engages with people too, which is kind of refreshing, actually. You know, talk to you about all kinds of stuff too. Guy is interested in everything. You know, he's a fucking graffiti artist and a breakdancer too, from the old days.
I knew the graffiti part. I know the breakdance part.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's still doing that because he's older than me, but he did, you know, for a while there. But yeah, no, cool guy. I was glad to have him on. But you know, it was a fun time, and I was surprised as hell he said yes. But boy, he did. A few other people were looking into inviting on the show who were a little higher profile than, you know, us.
Yeah, that was a big deal. I'm like, well, shit, Sam
my background is higher profile than I am.
Right. I'm gonna probably look into getting Allura Jensen on. See if she wants to come hang out with us for a little while and talk some shit. So she did a podcast with the Hodge twins last week that I listened to.
Oh
That was
yeah,
pretty
they
interesting.
funny. They're funny. I like them.
Right. So for those who don't know, Laura Jensen, that's her stage name. I'm trying to. I think it's Elizabeth Spraggins is her actual name. Her stage name was Laura Jensen. She was in the porn industry for like 11 years. Did a lot of like, help me stepson, I'm stuck kind of shit.
She's a stepmom. Stepmom. Hold on, who?
She did some. Yes, she's also done other stuff. But anyway, point is not about her
I'm
career as it was the interview that they did talk quite a bit about her career in this interview, but they also talked quite a bit about the state of the nation and where she thought it was going and all that. And she clearly, while unprepared for that specific interview, had been doing some research on her own and seemed to have a pretty good head on her shoulders about the stuff. And I'd actually kind of like to pick her brains about some of my conspiracy theory shit.
I like some of her brains.
I like to pick something.
Well, I think she's no longer in porn. And she is married, so
yeah,
that's what she told you. That's what she
told the whole fucking world, dude. Something shows up, we all know she was lying.
I got to bounce, bro. I got to go make a cameo. Got a guest coming up.
Here we go with Hollywood, Mr. Hollywood.
Honestly, we're probably at a good stopping point anyway. I mean, it's 2.5 hours, and we're just kind of like
trying to end it, bro. Homie just asked me to come up, and I had a chance. I know I was late here, and I'm late there, and I'm just like an hour late everywhere I go today. Sorry.
Well, that's true, but also like I mentioned at the top of the show, I did break a tooth 5 days ago, and it is cutting into my tongue, so I should probably stop talking for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, shut up.
That said, I think we are going to probably finish it off here. Clue, what do you have coming up that people can find you at?
Right now, I have nothing coming up, but you can catch my crazy tweets at X, at Clue Channel. Crazy. Offensive, too, if you like offensive stuff. Offensive, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome sauce. Also, everybody who is on panel today and some other people's links are in the description below. If you're not already familiar with them, please do go check them out. Caucasian Sasquatch, what do you have? Yes, you are just in time to be too late, Gary. We're finishing. Wow. you're here for the money shot.
Yep. Right on your face, bud. So Tuesday is election day. Election day is going to involve everyone on earth doing election streams. So I'll be co-hosting with Jay Rillo for whenever he starts till after around 8 p.m. Eastern, when I will be hosting with American Justice of Texas and running her election thing that she wants to do. I'm not too sure what that's going to look like, but it involves a chick, so it'll probably get more views. After that, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I have Resla, the opinionated, the coming in for a Sasquatch Shills, which is really cool. I found him mucking around in the drama sphere and not really making waves, which impressed me. So he seems to have a really square head on his shoulders. Not saying he's a head. Resla's cool, dude. Like, he's way cooler than I thought he was. When the camera went off, he suddenly like let that whole thing go down, and we came out of eye almost immediately on everything. It was awesome. I had a really good conversation with him. So we're going to cover his channel on Sasquatch Shills Thursday, and we'll see where we go from there after that. So I appreciate everybody coming in. Love each and every one of you like a brother and a sister, and don't let Sam get you down.
Too late.
That's what I do, baby. That's what
Too late.
So, yeah, all that said, thank everybody for coming, hanging out, listening to me talk with my fucking mutilated mouth. That's about it. That's about all I got. Y'all know where to find me. Probably over on Exiled Linus 2 later tonight. Probably on Adam's channel on Monday. We're back here for Abyssal Musings next Friday, and then Beelzebub, that sort of thing. Same shit every week. I announce it every time I end the show and all that. But yeah, thanks for coming. The next time we talk, we should know. The next time we do this show, we should know who the next president of the United States is going to be. And if we do not,
Sam.
Oh boy, howdy, we're going to have some shit to talk about, right?
It's going to be Sam. I know it's going to be Sam. It's definitely going to be Sam.
Yeah. So that's
I'm just trying to figure out how he's going to mix the the presidential sound with the Imperial March. I still want to hear that. How you're going to do that?
Right. Well, I was going to get the Epica cover of the Imperial March. You know, it's got the double bass kick drums and the fucking French horns and shit. Anyway,
But I mean, just imagine the beginning. Dun 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 dun.
There you go. There you go. Right there. You got it.
Can't do it without double bass kick drums, man.
But I want to answer a question. Since we're talking about Samuel's campaign here. Kamala said, "Is this man qualified to be president?" And my thought was Sam was Mr. January. So this ain't his first rodeo. He has been in public office before. Ma'am, have you ever been Miss January? No, you haven't. I'm looking at the list right now. I do not see.
I'm pretty sure she blew Mr. January.
That is true, but that does not make you anywhere on the calendar. So yes, he is qualified because he has already been in public office as Mr. January. Everybody, please go out there, get out there and vote. Sam 2024. Let's go.
Bye, Sasquatch. He's like, fuck this, I'm out. All right, folks. Have a great night. Remember, it could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras. And vote for who you want, man. I don't actually care. I don't care who you vote for. Just as long as it's your vote, you cast it how you want. All right. See you next time.